I wouldn't have done all the swearing. So we're live now. Sorry about that. Sorry to redo the tour, but yeah, no, yeah. So hello everyone. Yeah, sorry, I was just chatting while I was waiting for you to set up, so I wasn't sure when you wanted to go live. We're now live. There's always going to be a while before anyone turns up. Right. I'm like you. I'm going to put a brew on. So I'm hoping I don't set fire to the tent, because the problem about being on stony ground is that the little pegs that peg out the vestibule are kind of like pulling away. So don't set fire to the tent. That would be, I suppose that would make a good live, I suppose. But knowing my luck, I probably wouldn't have anyone watching. Oh, hello, it's Molly. Hello.
Hey, Molly.
I'm just talking about the fact that I might set my tent on fire and then probably no one will be watching, so that'd be quite funny. Well, not really. So yes, I've had a fun day, but I am north of Oxford, so I'm zapping at people, and it seems to be that Paul is in a caravan. I think, or we're not supposed to be public about that. All right. Oh, you were showing it, so. And I'm just making a brew, but of course I haven't actually put the water into the pot yet. This is one of those days. This is one of those days. Why so late? Why so late? Because I couldn't find the site. Because there's a wedding near where I was planning to do the site. Now I didn't want to go there because I'd be annoyed by ABBA all night long. They're playing non-stop ABBA, Dolly Parton, and Frankie Valli, so I'm pretty sure it's a wedding. And I also got deluged. I got completely drenched, and it took me longer to charge up my battery in Oxford. And so by the time I left, I was like, oh, well, I've got several hours to get there. I then sheltered under a tree for about half an hour while it just went. And then I was like, oh, I've got to go. And then so I got completely drenched. And then 10 minutes later, it just went, oh, okay, drizzle. And it was just, that's what today's been like. It's just been, most of the day was lovely. And then it was supposed to be a deluge earlier in the day. And so I was expecting that at 10 o'clock. And then it just, never happened. So I got into this false sense of, I was like, oh, okay, well, actually, so it's not going to rain then. It just happened at about 6 o'clock. So it was like, it just waited 8 hours for some reason. And yeah, so, and I nearly fell in the Thames filtering water. Yeah. Hello, Sparker.
Hey, Sparker.
So yeah, this is my first. It's fallen. Where's it gone? I've lost the water. There we are. This is the first ever filtered Thames water I've done on this trip, because I've not trusted the water. I don't actually trust the water north of Oxford really either, but I've not trusted the water in the south of the Thames at all. So I'm boiling this one, and I will probably throw some, if I do drink it, I'll throw some chemical tablets in as well, because I do not trust River Thames water with just through a filter. But yeah, I nearly fell in. I was rushing to do that to do the live, and I was like, yeah, there isn't. It's very muddy. It's very muddy. Lots of little tadpoles, and I was trying not to catch the tadpoles in my bag. Hello, Stephen.
Hey, Steve. Right,
So,
so yeah, for everybody who's come into the room, I'm not camping tonight. I've come out to do a live stream, but because if I was to do a camp where I am, it would go against everything that, no motorhome, no glamping pod, all that. I'm actually in a caravan.
yeah.
Not just a caravan, a manky, nasty, smelly old caravan. I'm glad I'm not going to be here all night. I'll do the tour in a minute.
And
It's
Stephen says,
honking.
"Can you say?"
It's honking.
I say hi to Stephen's girlfriend, who is watching Jenny Toolwatts. I don't know who's Jenny Toolwatts. Yeah, hi. Oh, and hello, Bob from Leeds. But yeah, we want the
Hello,
tour.
Bob,
I've
and
already
hi
I've already
to
had a
Jenny.
pre-tour. Who's Jenny Toolwatts? It's Isaac, but I'm undercover as Bob Zapp. Now, I was thinking. Oh, that's what he said. No, that's what she/he said. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah, we do keep saying. You're breaking up a bit. But yeah, I was thinking earlier how he's frozen. Oh no, it's just very slow. Where there's an intersection between the caravan people and the canal boat people, because I've been seeing a lot of canal people, and they seem very similar to the. They seem very similar to the caravanning people. So people who are members of the camping and caravanning club. I have campsites for those people, and they seem quite similar. One of the locks, they had to have about 5 boats to work out how to work out the lock, and it's like if you're kind of doing a canal boat holiday and you don't know how to work a lock, that's a bit of a problem. Can you say hi to my good friend who's here with me, Phil? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I didn't get the first one, but now I'm getting it. Yeah. No, it's not. It's not Phil McCracken. It's do you know about the Scottish couple Ben Doon and Phil McCavity? That's the joke. If you're gonna do it right. Next, you'll be doing Amanda Hug and Kiss. Oh, what's happened? Has he gone? Oh no, I still hear you. I think we're having connection issues. What if the Sparker 68 says, what if the caravans and the canal boats had a war like mods and rockers? I could see that actually. Yeah, especially if we invented a floating caravan. I suppose that is a canal boat. If you had like you can have like submersibles. If you could have like a caravan that also goes on the water, I can imagine there would be like a faction war. Yeah. No, you can't do that. Biffa has completely frozen. No, not completely frozen. Just a bit. It's buffering. It's just a little bit slow. We have some connection issues. Like, obviously, the caravan hasn't got Wi-Fi. You need to fit that caravan out with Wi-Fi. What's the drink of the night? It is hot chocolate with brandy. Definitely with brandy. Yep. This isn't a ginger shot. This is actually full of brandy, but it looks like a ginger shot, or looks a bit like it could be a ginger shot. So, oh, he's back. Hello. Hello, Robert. There could be movie Aquamobila. Yeah, there could be. Yeah, that would be good. War of the canal boats. Yeah. So I'm trying not to zap you in the eyes. Did that actually? I'm not sure. I bet it went out. Of course. Yep. Of course. It went out. Oh, there we are. The caravan. That is a scary caravan, I have to say. I saw it earlier before we went live.
It's not just a caravan; it's a Palomino GTS.
Oh. I think I've seen those Palomino ones. I remember thinking, why? What of course it's got to do with caravans? But anyway, there might be an area in it might be an area in America. I don't know. I don't know enough about America. All I know about America is it's very big. Right. And yes, I'm using my new Caldera cone, which I was having to adjust today with my penknife because there was a few minor issues with it. So I was like using my. Luckily, I've got a penknife with scissors. I was like enlarging a few of the holes. It could be misconstrued. Oh wow! What those? Bees?
2021.
Oh, they're cans. You'll still be able to eat them. I mean, they've eaten. Well, yeah, no, but they've opened and eaten.
No.
But I will say one thing about cans is they quite often this happens because my partner left cans in his kitchen for a long time and didn't use them. They actually rusted so much that the contents just desiccated. So if they're really rusty, they will fall apart. That's the wild campers, yeah. But yeah, no, you can eat. What happens is it becomes a tasteless glob. Actually, it becomes more and more tasteless, or it'll be really off if you open it. But yeah, you'll either know it's off, but generally it will just become more and more amorphous and tasteless. Are you scared by eating by?
Well, that's the grand tour out the way.
Oh. Stephen said, "Are you being scared of eaten by a pack of foxes?" Geese.
No, but I wouldn't mind eating a pack of.
Oh, those biscuits, yeah. No, but geese. You might be able to hear the geese in the background. We have very, very militant geese in this part of the world. Don't mess with the geese. Well, I was telling them to back off today at a lock. They actually came at me as a mob, and I had to say, back off, otherwise you'll become pate. But the geese are evil. No, the geese, yeah, probably will eat you. Foxes, I don't see any foxes. There is rabbits here, though. I almost camped near a rabbit warren. I was like, I bet they'll gnaw my tent, so I'm not going to do that. I'm hoping they don't do that in the night. So yeah, I'm going to close this up a bit. I don't want to let all the careful. I'll let all the pesties in. But yeah, I would do the tour, but you're not going to see you very much because I'm currently in a bramble bush. I'm in a hawthorn bush with lots of long, incredibly long bramble things hanging down. And I had to hack a space where I am, even though it was fairly clear. I had to hack a space and then take out the nettles and then take out some roots and things. It was, yeah, not the best of space. And then I had to create an impromptu camo net because I don't have a camo net. And so then I used bits of greenery because we have a kind of bit of a hole you can see me from the path. So I was like, so I then sort of found some greenery and plugged it up a bit. Stephen says geese are tough mofos. Tough mofos. Yeah, they are. I don't, Canada geese are quite chill. Me and Canada geese get on really well, but I really wouldn't recommend having. Oh, that's ready. I really wouldn't recommend having a fight with normal geese. They are evil. Just a minute as I try not to burn the tent down. Uh, I might knock you over. There we are. Ah. What's that? Yeah, it's boiled. I didn't catch that. You haven't seen the what? We're breaking up again. Victor Meldrew. I got the bit about Victor Meldrew. Oh look, you see, it looks like we're in a sauna now. Yes. There's an episode of where Victor Meldrew and then you broke up. This caravan needs Wi-Fi. It really does need Wi-Fi. Oh, a haunted caravan. No, I missed that one. I thought, well, I've found a newspaper in the caravan. 1970. Wow, this is getting very sightseers. Don't jump off a viaduct. Oh, that's spoilers. Sorry. Yeah, I'm not Molly. I'm not hotboxing. No, I might be doing a bit of a hot tent, I suppose. It probably. I really, yeah. We're getting up with a lot of condensation, I suppose. Oops. I should have the main bit open, but I didn't want to attract all the pesties. I might do that. Oh. So Robert says geese taste like roast beast. Do you mean beef or beast? Because they are a roast beast. Where's back? Yeah, I wouldn't mess with geese. I've actually painted next to Canada geese, and they're actually fairly chill, actually. At least the ones in London. But they're not actually Canada geese. They don't go home anymore. So they're really London geese. David's internet must be atrocious. He has frozen again. I think you can see and hear him, but I can't. I can't. I can kind of make out the odd word. It's going to come and go. No. Svarka 68 says Paul's caravan is on the moon. Yeah, I do quite like geese. I mean, goose, as in eating them. I don't like pate, but I used to have it regularly at Christmas, having a goose, but I got a bit bored of it. But it's better than turkey. We have geese backyard. Robert says we have geese backyard pond. Their poop is thick. Yeah. Oh, that's better. Hello.
that better?
Yeah, that's better. I can see you. I can see your red light.
I'm stuck on premium now.
I can join into the red light thing. Oh, no, that's going wrong. Did the wrong one, really. That's that one. Oh, I am Cyclops. Oh, I am Cyclops. I'm not drunk, honest. Actually, and I haven't actually put any brandy in my hot chocolate, so I'm definitely not drunk. Let's do that now. Just thought I'd join into the. That's weird. You can actually, yeah, of course, you can see that. Yeah, things are so spooky in a red light.
I'm going to get my chair and bring it outside.
Yeah. Lol. Wow, that's an improvement. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's fine now. I might put my light back on again now, so you can actually see me. So some would say that's not an improvement. There we are. And yeah, there is. I don't know how stealthy I am. I'm in this bush, but there's a bit of a gap in there. But I assume no one's going to be walking past at this time, apart from maybe some of the wedding party. I don't know. As I say, I don't know if it is a wedding party, but the pub about a mile or half a mile south of here advertised it has a beautiful marquee, and I saw the marquee, and then the songs I heard as I walked past were ABBA's Dancing Queen, Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons, Oh What a Night, and then Dolly Parton's 9 to 5. And if you have those three songs in quick succession, it has to be a wedding, because there's a rule that says that you have to play Dancing Queen at a wedding, and also Dolly Parton. It's just a thing. So it's obviously a wedding.
I'm going to get my chair.
You guys too quiet tonight. Good and stealthy bush. I'm always on the far side of the moon anyway. I'm not using my microphone. I couldn't use my microphone. Actually, probably could. The thing is, I could use my microphone, but then I wouldn't be able to hear Paul. We've had this problem before on one of the joint lives. I couldn't, because my wireless microphone is way better, but then I can't hear him. So I have to kind of use the phone. But yeah, I don't know. I could show you the wonders of the outside. I'll probably end up knocking everything over. There's not much to see apart from. Well, there is a bush. Not the kind of bush you're probably interested in. Right. Let's have a look. I'll probably let all the pesties in, but let's go and have a look. Oh, we've had the slug invasion. I didn't talk about this because it happened after the last live. When we were talking, Paul, I left the food bags on the floor, and then when I went to get them, one of them was a bit open, and it had about 4 slugs inside it.
Yeah.
They'd just gone for the open one as well. It was weird because there was 2 bags. I was like, "Oh no, we're going to bother with the closed one." Oh no, they found the open one, and so I had to kind of take them out of the bag. It was like, "Ew, horrible." Well,
Nasty.
hey, yeah, we could do a walkabout. I have to try not to knock over my chocolate, but I also need to put some shoes on because I got wet feet. I got wet feet, wet socks. That was fun. Yeah.
Yeah, what I was saying, what you couldn't hear me saying, Tim, was the other caravan that's around there. It was like the one in One Foot in the Grave, Victor Meldrew's caravan that he bought. That it turns out that it was haunted or something like that. I found newspapers in there, the Sun newspapers from 1972.
Wow. Yeah, I kind of got that bit about the Victor Meldrew and the paper, but I don't know if anyone else got it because it was apparently I was getting they were getting frozen and I was obviously getting a bit more. I don't know if you can see anything. Can you see anything? That is the River Thames. There's if you can see any of the distant lights. Maybe we turn this up. I will now attract every single pesky in the known neighbourhood to me. In fact, you could stay out there while I put my shoes on. I'll leave you quarantined out there while I put my not my shoes on. I've got some other shoes. I'm not going to discuss what they are because if I use them in the thing, if I use them in the in the video, they are my secret defense against bugs. But I've not had any problems with flooding, so yeah, it's gonna have a look. Can you see anything? Oh, yeah. I can see things. I can see lots of pesty is coming for us.
I can see some ground, I can see branches.
Yeah, those are bramble branches hanging from the hawthorn trees. So, of all the tent destroying things we have bramble hanging from hawthorn, and they're hanging like tendrils. And so when you walk through here, you have all kinds of fun with it ripping at your clothing, which is the reason why I chose here, because but I had to kind of hack some of them away because they were actually in the tents, so they were in that area. But that's one reason why I chose it, because I know that people probably won't come through here tomorrow. We had to get rid of some nettles as well, but because and there's my impromptu camo. I could have like threw some green stuff there to try and. But the other path that's over here has got lots of big branches of bramble hanging across it. So I don't think the only way to get here is along the shore, and you have to go quite a long way along the shore. So unless you go through there, you have to kind of hack through bramble. So I think it's probably not going to be disturbed. And here we have the lights of, oh, there's a train. That's the lights of, I don't know, North Oxford. Can you see any of that?
Yep.
No one's going to see that from a mile off. Yeah, I know. This is the reason why I haven't been doing this. I've been very, very kind of. This is why I was hiding the tent. I didn't want to give away my location, but thanks for that. Hey Tim, go on a walkabout. Get spotted. Yeah, on the other side we've got horses, and there was a guy who I'm not going to say the word that I was calling him earlier, who spotted me standing here, and I had to pretend to go because they stood there for ages with their dog. They were hassling the horses for some reason, and I was just like, just go away, rude word. Just go away, rude word. And I had to pretend to I had to hide in the bushes until he or she, could be she, I suppose, went away. But yeah. And that's the shoreline. I almost fell in. That was good. To try and filter this water. The water tastes all right, actually, but it's been boiled as well. So it's very, very defended. It's defended by nettles, hawthorn, and brambles. So I would not mess with this location. Robert says, I like the camping stealthy. I got a guy from the drug house, came down, jumped in a pond with all his clothes on. My daughters live across the road, don't the street, and my 3-year-old granddaughter. Okay. I'm not sure I get that. I did find spoons though. Not 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 heroin spoons, but a spoon on its own, which I think might have been something to do with that. One not here. Another location I noped out on yesterday. I was like, I am not going to camp here because as soon as I saw something that was like possible drug paraphernalia, I was like, yeah, I think I'll leave that. And broken bottles, I was like, broken bottles, yeah. Whereas the place I did end up last night, which was a place called Nyatt's Meadow. There's a wood by Nyatt's Meadow, which is north of the bridge that Moley tried to camp. So he tried to camp on the south side. You can camp on the north side because I found the archers, but also you can camp at this wood right next to it, and it's basically a large dead wood. So it's full of wood, and it's also the ground is empty. So unless you move the sticks out of the way, it's a perfect wild camping wood, and no one was there. It's the best wild camping location I've come across. It was just wonderful. So I really not wanting to send. Robert says, so I'm really wanting to set my tent and stealth set up. I don't want to find him in my tent. Yeah, that is always a problem. You fact. That's always a problem. I've not had anything like that myself with drugs. I have found evidence of solvent abuse and obviously cans and bottles and things. That kind of slightly bugs me because you think, oh, well, will the teenagers, whoever it was, will turn up in the middle of the night? But generally, it's fine, especially if it's a weekday. But yeah, no, I've not had a massive problem with that. I know Moley and Paul have in Northamptonshire, so Northampton. So yeah, Moley camping rules. Okay, just basically said that they had problems in Northampton. Yeah. And yeah, that's why I mentioned the spoon because just this one spoon on its own, and I was like, yeah, what could that be? I didn't see any syringes, but I was like, I don't want to find them. Hello, Tom. Okay. Tom Byfield says, half the time when I scroll up to read comments, YouTube serves me another live of a deadlocked, I assume dreadlock woman, twerking to a hysterical chat telling her to stop because cringe. Okay. And Molly says, not that all homeless people are trouble. They're not. I one of the reasons why I didn't camp nearer Oxford, I'm quite a few miles from Oxford, is that I could tell looking in the woods these were places likely where Oxford's homeless would be staying, and I just, you know, they don't want me staying there, and I don't want to disturb them, and vice versa. That's odd. I'm not. Nothing to do with me. YouTubing. Obviously, YouTube. I think. Oh, there's a car. What? There's a what? There's a ruin. There's a wrecked car as well. Oh, that is very wrecked. This guy, Robert says, yes, they aren't fun. This guy asks, do we have any drugs? Yeah. Only drug I have here is brandy and hot chocolate. I suppose chocolate is going to be drug. Bromelain. Is it bromelain? The thing that dogs can't have. There's some chocolate. Not bromine. It's something very similar. So yeah. But yeah, I don't think anyone's passing here, so hence why I've got the light on. But I'm not going to wander on the foreshore because it's very muddy. And yeah, it's far too easy to wander into these sharp things. So I suppose I've got my own defense mechanism. The only thing we might get is rabbits. There's quite a few. I don't know what that is. Is that a vape pen? I'm not sure what that is. It could be a vape thing. Or something to do with angling. So I'm spotting a angling spot. Yeah, Robert says, was he? Sorry, Marley says, was he at least polite to Robert? Yeah. You hope, yeah. I mean, I often get taken. What is going on? This is a treasure trove of stuff where you are. Old lights and cars and things. Yeah, I often get confused for a honest person, so yeah, I'm not going to lay any shade. I wander around with my big rucksack. People think I'm homeless. Do not. Tom Michael says, "Do not take on the Thames Valley rabbit alone. Hard up, they can be very aggressive." I'm sure. I think they're like the rabbits in the Holy Grail. You're very careful, those. Colin? Is the rabbit called Colin? I know the wizard was called. And what is thy name, O wizard? Tim. I love the idea of a wizard called Tim. I was a big fan of that. I nearly got hit by a deer on the dog walk a few days ago. Yeah, usually they run away from me. They were around last night. I saw one bounding away, and then of course, I think it was a muntjac, and it spent the time just complaining about me being that. I think because I'd taken its territory, so it just spent the whole night going just to annoy me. I think it's revenge from the muntjacs. But yeah, I wouldn't. They usually run away from me.
That's my walkabout done.
What? There's a ruined car there as well. There's a wrecked car.
I'm not going to go to it because it's too dark and I'll end up covered in stingers, thorns, and whatever else. The main pathway's got CCTV. If I'd gone through that building and out the other side and across the way, there's all sorts over there. Lorries, so many old lorries, trucks. There's that many vehicles. It's unreal. There's a double-decker bus over there.
Wow.
Which looks like they've started trying to convert it. Upstairs is like sleeping compartments.
Yeah.
And I did think about doing a camp there, but I'm not gonna.
That is, yeah. So the caravan is like in a sort of almost like a wrecker's yard.
I don't know what it is. It's just full of crap.
Yeah, because I saw some of the things in your video, and it was just like your stream just now, and it was just like, wow, what's that? What's that? What's that? It's very random. I'm just gonna get my tent. Hey, look at the tent without me in it. It's getting a bit cold out there. I don't really want to wave.
Hello, Liam.
I don't want to wave the light too much to the horizon because it kind of like it's like hello, there's people here. I mean, if people see me camped here, they'll probably think I'm an early morning angler in the morning. But the danger is the angling people will get annoyed. I don't know how monitored this place is.
I'm not
So
on a stealth camp, no. I've come out just to do a live stream with Tim, and I just thought the perfect setting would be this manky, horrible caravan.
I know it's amazing.
Sorry?
It's amazing. It looks really cool. Yeah, where it is and everything.
You wouldn't say that if you was inside it, Tim. It really does honk in there.
I'm sure. It's well, it's been there for a very long time, so I can imagine it's pretty mouldy.
It just smells quite damp and musky.
Tom Byfield says, my friend rescued a deer that was drowning in Duke's Cut just by the Thames. Duke's Cut. Duke's Cut is either just about to come up or that's just kind of north of me, I think. I saw it on the map, so I know where Duke's Cut is. It's kind of where I was heading for, but I didn't make it in the end. It was exhausted and couldn't breathe. We gave it mouth to mouth, but couldn't revive it, so he ate it. Delicious jerky. Yeah, jerky.
Giving a deer mouth to mouth.
Yeah, I've got a feeling that might not be a true story.
It's funny, whatever.
Is Liam Jones? Is Tim on a stealth camp? Yes, I am. I am north of Oxford, in a hawthorn bush, with brambles and nettles. It's exciting. Oh, and angry geese. We have lots of angry geese. Yeah.
No, it's not bad mold in the caravan. It just smells damp and it just honks.
Yeah, it would do. It would do. After all that time, you could be in the haunted caravan, I suppose.
The other van that I seen earlier today, it was crazy. He's got like the kitchen area. It's still got like cups from like the 70s.
Oh,
it was like a time capsule.
Let me guess. Were they those little brown ones with the circles on? Do you know what I mean?
No, there was blue.
Oh, blue. That's unusual. Usually in the 70s, it's used the brown or that institutional green or orange. Because my dad had some of those. It was like these sort of pottery ones, and they were like got the indented circles, and they were brown, like the kind of brown they don't sell nowadays because everyone would say, "Oh, that looks like crap, literal crap." Yeah, I know they seem to have a lot of those things, brown and orange, or green and orange. It's like you shouldn't combine those colours, but
I know what you're on about.
Yeah, and purple. My dad had a deep purple Mini in the 70s. It was like that sort of very rich purple.
It got like you got the kitchen area, and you actually got a door separating it from the bedroom, and you've literally just got a big, massive double bed in there with 2 mattresses, and the space inside the bedroom was unreal.
Wow.
In the kitchen, there's washing powder from the 70s. There was an old iron that you put like a cast iron that you put on the hot hob.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and Liam, I do remember those weird transparent amber glass ones. Yeah, I do remember those ones. And do you remember the little Duralex glasses as well? You know those glasses that are kind of like not oval, half an oval shape. They're French ones, and it seems like no one ever has those anymore. But I remember those as a kid. Those very strange. They have rings around them and they're glass, and they were like sort of like almost like an egg, sort of an egg shape with a cut off bomb. And I never see those anymore. They're like little glasses.
Sorry, but I have to question the state of you guys' relationships where these settings are a preferable situation. Well, no, actually, because when this live's over, I'm 20 minutes away from home and I'll be getting into bed at home.
Yeah, well, I'm just going to do no comment with me. John will be having a lovely time on his own. He will be having a great time. So, yeah. It's kind of like why I go wild camping. It's kind of he I get to have some time away, and he gets to have the run of the flat, and doesn't have to have the light on, and he can live in darkness and mold as much as he wants. Because seriously, if he could live like a caveman with no electricity, no heat or anything, in a dark, cold hole with probably like that caravan, he would.
I was going to say, you just described in one this young heap behind me.
Don't tell John about it. He'll want to live there. Yeah, because every time, he just wants to be in this. Yeah, because like it'd be blazing sunshine outside, and he'll be like have the lights off, or have like one little light on, and it's like it'd be like, why are you hidden here? It's lovely outside.
I don't take it the wrong way, Sparker.
This is better, definitely better than the car parking at Asda where I slept last weekend. Without the Saturday, it says Marnie. I'm looking forward to it.
Is this the Stealth Camping Alliance challenge?
Every little helps. No, that's something else. I can't even remember what the Asda slogan is. Something about patting your bottom, isn't it, or something?
Something like that with the sound of money.
Yeah.
Ching.
Ching, ching. Yeah. Yeah, because I actually went round. Because I don't usually shop at Morrison's, and actually went round Morrison's singing what I thought I'd invented this new jingle or slogan for them, and then I heard it on the radio. I was like, oh, I must have picked it up. More reasons. I was like, I thought I was very inventive, and I was like, no, you actually just heard it and was singing it all the way through. It was just like the evil of jingles. Every little help. Yeah, that's why. Yeah, that's why every time I go to Tesco's, I'm like going every little help.
So I've still got time to do this challenge. Is that what you're saying, Molly?
It's actually Tom and the Tent challenge this month. Yeah, because I saw the challenge for August, and that was Marley's challenge, and I don't know. Maybe this will qualify. Being in a hawthorn bush, how random! I would not choose to be here. Some of the places I would not choose to be. Yeah. Although actually last night was perfect, and I would say the first night when we did the live stream was perfect until this old codger decided to inspect my campsite at 8 a.m, and he wasn't a fisherman. He just seemed to be. I don't know. I saw him like take all the different paths, and then he took that path, and we're like, oh. And so I packed up and then moved to my campsite, and he headed back, and he was like frowning, saying, "How are you?" And I was like, "I'm fine." I was very nice to him, but he was not happy. But he had like a wooden staff. Because initially I thought, is that a fishing pole? No, it was a wooden staff. He obviously thought it was Gandalf, but didn't have the beard for it. But yeah, he had this wooden stuff. It was very strange. It was just like he was going randomly around, and I was like, when he took that path, because the place I was camping at the River Thames, the path only goes to that fishing place. It's not a path. It's not on any of the maps. Because I was looking at the map going, that path doesn't exist on the maps. And then I took it and went, oh, that's why, because it's not actually a path. It doesn't go anywhere. It just goes to this. So I was like, why are you going down there? And yeah, that was nice about the campsite yesterday was I didn't get this 8 a.m. inspection from Gandalf. So
So Sparker asked me, do I have plans for the challenge? I thought I was too late for it. Possibly, but to be fair, I've already I did decide my location on Saturday night. I found a cracking little place to do a stealth camp.
What's Tom and the Tent's challenge?
Apparently, it has to be near a store.
Oh yeah, I don't do those kind of. I mean, great if you want to, but I get stressed out enough, in a hawthorn bush. Yeah, no. It was, I was stressed out just the idea of being in a wood near Oxford, let alone next to a shop. That would not play well on my anxiety at all.
So you wouldn't have been able to do a camp like I did last weekend.
No, I would. Yeah, I. That's the reason why I don't do the urban stealth camps, because I kind of, I find it difficult for those kind of things, because it's kind of,
Sketchy.
yeah. I would be too worried about someone spotting me and and getting busted. I think because and it's great. I do watch people like you, who do it, and it's great. But I don't know if I could ever do it myself, because it's just urban stealth camping is a different thing to what I do. I just don't think I could do it. Maybe if I was with someone else, but on my own, I think I would just get too anxious that I'm trying to think if I've actually done it. I'm trying to think if actually have accidentally done that. I've been near towns. I haven't actually been in a town. I've been in places where I can hear all the sirens and all the stuff.
Well, to be fair, I've got 2 or 3 stealth camps planned. One of them, I know the homeless guy sleeps near where I want to be, so if he's there, I'll just offer him some food and whatever else. Let's hope he's not hostile.
Well, I mean that was a possibility with the barbecue camp, which I did at Hamlands, which I've mentioned many a time on the channel. But the reason what put me off is I know there's 2 people there's 2 tents of people who seem to live there, and I just made sure I was kind of like very south of them. But I don't know whether the guy that turned up at 4 a.m. coughing was one of them, because they might obviously when no one's around they might wander around the site. I don't know. But I was a bit weird. It was like, well, who's coughing by my tent? And it was definitely a cough. It wasn't a deer. I was like, whoa. And I couldn't sleep after that. Other than that, it was a good time having a barbecue at Hamlands. But I knew there was a possibility I might bump into those people. I've never seen them, but I've seen the tents. The tents seem to be occupied.
This is for you. This next question, Tim. Have you ever done the Southwest Coast Path?
I've done the Southwest Coastal Path. I've not done it camping. I can't southeast. Oh, actually, Southwest Coast Path. Where does the Southwest Coast Path go from? Because I've walked all the coast paths. I've walked all the Jurassic Coast, bar a little bit around Weymouth. There's like a 9-mile bit I missed, and I've done from kind of what's it called around before Faversham all the way around to Chichester, but that's the south east, isn't it? The southwest coast path. I'm not sure. Well, he says I've definitely had some stressful camps. Sometimes the places I think are going to be the worst for the end. That end up brilliant. The roundabout was near perfect spot. Absolutely no worries. Well, people don't expect you to be camping on a roundabout unless they watch the wild camping videos. So it's kind of like if you're in the weirdest location you tend to be, people don't expect you to be there. So it's not a massive problem you being there. People are not looking for a tent in that location. Whereas some of the places I've been, they are very aware that there are wild campers around. Amberley being one of them on the South Downs Way. They are very aware. They quiz you about it. And it was the same thing happened when I was near the Queen Elizabeth Country Park. And this guy just started quizzing me about where I was going. And it was obvious he was just sort of like going, that's a large rucksack. Where are you going? Most of the locals are fine. Most of the locals are like, oh, just camp in the wood near me. I don't care. But a couple of them are like NIMBYs, and they get rather annoyed. And yeah, the more posh of the area, like Meon Springs, Meon. There was actual. It sounds like I'm making this up, but there was actual security vans. I think buzzing me in Meon Springs. There's about 3 of them went along, like not the same one. It was 3 in a row. And I'm thinking, are they monitoring me? Maybe it was just random. Maybe I'm just being paranoid, but I don't think so. I think they were. And if you've ever been to Meon Springs or any of the Meons, they're a bit like that down there. It's a very rich, posh area. And the posher the area, the more they kind of like police stuff like this. So yeah, that's the other way. In a way, if you're in a place where people are not expecting you to camp, like a Wicks or a tool station, like Paul has, people are not expecting you to be there. Whereas in hiking areas, like trail areas, going through posh areas, they do expect it and they try and stop it.
Cornbread and pork chops. Can't text.
Ooh. I love cornbread. You can't get it here. It would be the ultimate gluten-free bread, and this is an idea for anybody who wants to start a business in the UK. You will get lots of people who have gluten issues loving it, but for some reason, no one ever makes it here. Because I love biscuits and gravy that you get in the States. With biscuits is like a cornbread and like a little, almost like a roll with gravy, and it's really nice, and it's a very southern dish, and you can't get that here, and it's wonderful. Bodines do it though.
Going back to what Molly had said about him being stressed, I'll never ever get stressed when I'm stealth camping. I don't. It doesn't faze me.
Well,
I think sometimes I should be a bit more, you know.
Well, last night was brilliant because there was no stress at all, because I knew where I wasn't visible from the path. I didn't hear anyone. I didn't even hear any dog walkers. There were dog walkers going by, because when I had my breakfast by the path, I saw them go by and said hello, but I didn't hear them. So I didn't hear any dogs in the distance or whatever. And I was pretty sure where I wasn't trafficked by anybody except occasional people who were drinking or snorting some, foaming gas or whatever. But there wasn't really much of that either. That was great. It was just relaxing, and I love those places. But yeah, it's hard to find them. Yeah, I should be more. I mean, I've never had a problem, so I should be more kind of like chilled out about it. But I find it difficult not to be. If I know I'm visible, or if I can hear people nearby, I get a bit stressed out that they're going to come and have a go. Bisgrab roll, Tom. What's Bisgrab roll? Yeah, Liam, they are very aware on the South Downs Way about overnight campers, and it happens a lot. There are a lot of people who are wild camping it, but there are certain places where I think they are to try and catch you out a bit. So, Amberley being one of them. It's a telegraph town, thatch houses. They read the Daily Telegraph there or the Daily Mail. They're that kind of place. Yeah, Liam says no. Makes sense, because at the end of the day, most people don't care about person camping, mind their own business. It's true. And there was one of the channels. There's a channel called Grey Hiker, and he has a grey beard like me. And he just said, actually, the police don't seem to care about people like us camping. what they're bothered by is young lads and teenagers camping and starting fires and things. And that made a lot of sense because whenever some people have seen me about and I've got kind of not busted because it's kind of the next day, people are always like, "Oh, great campsite!" They're always really nice about it. I think they're more bothered about teenagers causing aggro and littering and stuff. I think that seems to be more the thing. I don't think they really care about
In
single
the
older.
early days of my channel, I had somebody message comment on one of my videos, and he said I was homeless for 2 years, and he says I can tell you now, police don't care about people finding people asleep in these places or camping and stuff. They rather pretend you don't exist. They're not interested.
Yeah, generally, yeah. I mean, I saw one today because it's interesting how I ever since I've started doing this, I now start to notice people who are not so wild camping or just camping out and about. And I think it was a homeless person because it was just so when someone's kind of like in a grey tent in a field and it's that sort of like they're just there. There might have been someone fishing. There wasn't anyone fishing near them though. But it probably was that, and it's true. I do see them around you, like, oh well, they don't like the ones on Ham Lands. They've been there for at least 2 to 3 years. I first discovered them about 3 years ago, and the campsite's still there. And I went back, and they're not abandoned tents because there's still new stuff around it. I went obviously didn't go into the site, but I went near it and I was like, oh, they're still there, and they're not been moved on.
Is it Tom Byfield who said he lives in Oxford? When I used to do the Oxford route, deliver around Oxford, there's I think it's the end of Queen Street. I'm not. I can't remember the street, but it splits, and you've got a church and a churchyard, and all the homeless used to actually have tents in that churchyard, and they was there for weeks, the same tents, and never get moved on.
Well, look, this is the thing about
they were so blatant about it.
Sorry.
But yeah, they were so blatant. You drive past and you can just see all like 3 or 4 tents.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like. It's interesting how Reading and Oxford seem to have also a lot of people. There are the sort of the usual barges or kind of like holiday barges and people who are living and moving around, but there seems to be a lot more permanent ones of people who aren't kind of like the people who are doing the nomadic lifestyle and whatever. They're just living in a boat. And I was surprised that near or north of Oxford or around Oxford, there was a whole load of them. And it was obvious that there were people who were living there permanently. And the same with Reading. Reading waterfront didn't have all those people who are living. Now there's a massive kind of like almost, I suppose, village of people who are living there all the time. Oops. Is he gone? Yeah, Spark. What's wrong? Can you hear something? Oops.
The lay low a second.
Okay. Should I whisper? Oh, hello, Out of Bounds. Welcome to my channel. Yeah, Sparker 68. I think there is well, there's supposed to be a Christian, helping people in need, and there's a church in London, St John's, which is by Waterloo, who does a lot of homeless outreach, and they have like a food van, and they have those kind of things, and there are people living there, and it's yeah. So it is a good thing to do, but then the good church members kind of get a bit annoyed by it as well. But yeah, be safe. Paul. Liam says, in my experience, police are more concerned about people causing a public nuisance in the city. If you're out of the way, you normally are fine. I just got scared of people bothering me. That's why. No, I totally get that. But yeah, it does seem to be that the police generally don't care. But I think some other people do. That's I'm not bothered by the police being called. What I'm bothered by is because the police called you, and you just move on, you do your thing, and you just you say hello officer, and you explain, and they ask you to move on or don't. And, oh, wasn't I supposed to be here? I've not had that yet, but that's what they generally don't want to deal with it. It's only if they've had a complaint. It's the people, the landowners or the landlords or the it's getting very Blair Witch at this point. But yeah, it's the people I'm more bothered. More things like teenagers messing with you. That's what I'm more bothered by. No, I've never had anyone try and open the tent or anything like that. And Tom Byfield says, I used to get in trouble with farmers when I was young. Now I'm old. Nobody seems to care. It's interesting. Yeah. I mean, I didn't do it when I was younger, but it does seem to be people are kind of bothered by in some places now, but most people, if they see you out and about, don't seem to be like just almost like you're not there. They just ignore you. Charlie says they passed laws for federal level camping. I'm not sure what that is, but yeah, trespass is not a crime here. It's the Tories wanted to make it one, but it's a civil offence. So as long as you don't cause damage and you move on, there's not much they can do. If they can prove you damaged something, or if you refuse to go on, if you refuse to leave when you're asked by the police, then that's an offence. So if you actually say, "Oh, sorry, I'm not supposed, you're not supposed to be here. Oh, sorry," and you go. There's nothing you can do unless you're caught actually doing some form of damage or hassling livestock or something. Yeah, and yeah, I'd be worried if they ever made it a criminal offence because it's silly. But there is a weird thing. There is a fine for people camping in tents, but it's to try and stop people homeless. But again, I don't know how they'd enforce that really. And again, I think it's if you refuse to move, because as I say, the law is so you'd have to sort of be camping and then refuse to move. Yeah, the Sparker says about the boats and things. Yeah, isn't capitalism brilliant, Tom? Sorry, the whole people movement thing is usually driven by economics. Yeah, I get it. There's lots of there's a whole community of where I live on the Thames. There's a whole community of people who live on the boats, and they're cool people. One of them I've drawn a couple of times because he's modelled for us when we've done the. I used to do a lot of portrait drawing, and he's a welder, an artist. He lives on a boat. Don't know where he stores his stuff though. That's the one reason why I would struggle with living on a boat, or two reasons. I was thinking about that today. One is the winters; it's cold in a barge. I remember sailing in spring and being cold with my dad, and also winter sailing, It's just because the water is colder, so you do come where it's cold. And the other one is just where do you put your stuff? Liam says, "There's a fellow on the right." Okay, sorry, I don't know his name. That's Paul, and I assume he's being quiet because of. Yeah, he does salute. I think he's all right, but I assume he's listening quietly. But there's possibly someone there, which thankfully I don't have that problem. But yeah. I'm just laughing at Molly's comment. The fellow on the right is just some homeless guy we found in a skip. I've seen that live. That was very funny. Yeah, I don't. I hope. Hopefully, there's no one turning up here. Oh, you're muted, or can't hear you.
Oh, is that better?
Yeah. I thought you were very quiet.
There you go. I've been talking, and yeah. I think people was walking past. That's all. I could hear voices walking down the road.
Okay. Yeah, it's
I
a
was
good
just
idea.
saying there's an abandoned 3-story house not far in front of me either.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I that's one of the reasons why where I am and where I chose a few of the places I didn't go because they were near people mooring, and I'm like, I don't want to be anywhere near anyone's mooring or houses. I don't like overlooking, even if I'm probably not going to be in the site, they might see the light, so you have to wait for them to go to bed. And no.
What I can actually hear is just sort of up that direction in front of me. It sounds like when you got a security guard with a radio.
Yeah. Ooh.
But when I come here, I heard it earlier, and then I seen the camera when I was by the abandoned building. I thought, no, get away from there. So, and I couldn't figure out what this noise was. It just sounded like voices on a radio, like a walkie-talkie. So I thought there might be some sort of security. But tonight I've crept up along the road and had a look and tried to avoid the camera. And what it actually is the actual camera basically talking, saying to connect via Wi-Fi, blah de blah de blah, and it just keeps doing it on a.
Wow. So wow. So you know that the camera's probably not working then because it's not connecting via the IP.
Well, the one isn't, but I know there's one further up. I can see the infrared from it. So I thought I'm not going anywhere near there because I don't want to draw attention to myself.
Yeah, I used to have one of those kind of like infrared wireless IP cameras. And yes, I know what they look like. It's like a very dull red glow. And yeah.
Here's a tip for you, Tim. If you ever, because I do this, if I'm going like round the back of buildings, like Wixes and stuff like that I've done, and the one where I was behind the back of the units, if you get your camera on your phone when it's dark, obviously without the light on, and put your camera around the wall before your face, and it will pick up, and your camera lens will pick up any infrared cameras that you can't see with your eyes.
Ah, that's interesting. That must mean that they don't have the filter on, because usually in there's actually an infrared filter on like proper cameras in front of the sensor. There's usually a I kind of just to cut down glare and haze. There's usually an infrared filter, which is just a thing, So yeah, it's interesting. That must mean they don't actually put them in the smartphones. Interesting.
But yeah, as I say, if I'm not too sure, because sometimes there might be a camera, but you don't quite see it. And then I've put my phone around and I thought, Jesus, there's 3 of them. 1, 2, 3. I knew there was 1 or 2, but then there was a third one. So I've just sort of walked round away from out of the view of the cameras, and then got into my spot.
I must say, I'm very bad at not. I mean, maybe because I don't really camera, because I don't really check out cameras. I know of a common near me, Claygate Common, claims to have CCTV, and that's, I know, complete BS. I'm like, there is no power on that common, and there's no the poles and whatever, and there's like signs saying we have CCTV. I was like, where from? There's no kind of like cameras on tops of anything, and there's no even lights that are suspiciously not working. There's nothing like that. So it's like, how are you filming this? So yeah.
Liam Jones, isn't that just picking up movement though? No, you do get cameras with the infrared, which obviously for night vision.
Yeah, and you get like a black and white or greenish.
You might be thinking of motion sensors. He's thinking of.
Yeah, no,
because some buildings have cameras, but they also have motion sensors that you're not aware of, which obviously trigger a warning to like security, like a main hub or whatever, and then they monitor the cameras.
But the thing is that the passive infrared doesn't broadcast anything, but there has to be light for it to work. So those will only kick out if there's ever a green glow. If there's a green glow in a place, it likely has, or like a very low lighting. There's a lighting. They likely have a PR. It's either the emergency fire thing, the exit lights. But quite often it's because so they can pick up movement on a PIR sensor, because the sensors have to have some light, the passive ones, or they are active IR, which is that then you either get a beam of light like a laser, or you can see that there's something there, or there's infrared, which is like a dull red glow, because otherwise you can't, the sensors can't pick it up. So if it's a passive one, it can't. Passive PIR doesn't. I know this. Sorry. Now I hear something. It could have been a deer. It's like someone clearing their
Right.
throat.
Good night, Molly.
Good night.
Yeah, good to know of you, Tom Byfield. It's been great to have you along. Yeah, good info, that Sparker.
Yeah, good to see you, Molly. And yeah, Molly's channel is great. Yeah, no, I heard a noise that was just like, I think it might have been a deer, or someone was clearing their throat on the path very loudly. I'm not sure. They probably would see the light, but it's quite way down, so I don't know. Didn't hear anything.
Now, yeah, the reason I said obviously for you to do the live stream tonight, Tim, I actually thought because you was joined on my channel, the stream comes onto your channel as well because you're in it, but it doesn't, does it?
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It only goes
because I looked on your channel to see if the stream had gone on there. and there was nothing. So I thought, well, that's not fair. If you're in a joint stream, you should both have it on both your channels.
Yeah, that
Because
makes
it's 50-50.
sense. Yeah, that makes sense, and it is a bit strange. It seems to be around the person who's doing the channel, and then the guest appears on their channel rather than it being on both. Yeah, it's true. Because I was looking for it as well, because I was like going to post it onto my community tab, and that's how I learned that Android doesn't allow community posts. You can't actually see them on Android, either Firefox or on. You have to. Apparently, they only work on desktop. I did not know that.
No, I see the community posts on my phone.
Well, I go to the YouTube app or even Firefox, and then Firefox seems to default to the mobile. It just says, "Oh, community posts or community or posts are not available on this device." Very annoying. So maybe it's too old or something. Yeah, thanks for coming.
Thanks for stopping,
Tom.
Tom.
I've liked the video and it says hard up the hard hike. Yeah, this one is on my channel, whereas the one on Tuesday was on Paul's channel. Yeah, I don't know if you're going to. Are you going to make that one live?
It's live.
Okay, yeah, because I went to your live. This is what I was a bit confused by, because I went to your live.
It's not always instant. You have to wait for it to upload.
Oh, okay. Because I did that today, and I was like, it said you didn't have any live videos, which I was a bit confused about because you've done several.
Yeah, they're definitely there.
Yeah, there's something
But
very strange.
during the next day, I couldn't watch it. It was saying video uploading, and then the following day, it was there to be viewed.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. That's what I was trying to do remotely today. I was like, oh, I'll let my, I put out a community post because I can post to community from YouTube. But weirdly, it was saying there is no post. You can't see posts. I was like, why? I can post them via the YouTube app. It's very strange. But yeah, I looked and it said there was no live videos. I was like, I'm pretty sure you've done several. So
Is this on the lives? You definitely looked on my live section.
yeah, on your channel, and there's nothing on this on my Android on this phone. It just says there's nothing there. So there's something very strange going on with how YouTube works on Android 12, which is what this runs. Maybe it's to do with the age of the Android.
Yeah, both on Android, Liam.
Yeah, that's very strange. Yeah, because I was like, what? Why? Because I immediately then went to try and do desktop mode on Firefox, and it wouldn't let me. I was like, just show me the desktop. Yeah, we both use Android. I'm thinking of upgrading to iPhone. As soon as I get 1,000 subscribers, I'm probably gonna upgrade to a refurbished iPhone. I can't afford a new one, but just a cheap refurb Android iPhone 12 or 13 or something.
I'm just going to go and get my.
Cool. Yeah,
all this yabbers giving me a dry mouth.
Yeah, Liam says, "Wow, that is odd," but I'm not totally surprised because I've got a Xiaomi, however you say it, phone, and it's all kinds of oddness anyway. It's not a great phone, so I'm not surprised. I'm totally not surprised. It is kind of not very good. It's a terrible phone. Do not recommend. Sparker68 says nothing in your channel on the live section for me, which is weird because I saw your live section in the videos because I the previous one we did, one of the ones you did, not the live. I reposted, so I've definitely seen them before. Liam says iOS is a poor operating system. I would stick with an Android device, just upgrade. Yeah, there's a reason why I want to go with the iPhone. Is that the video is best because I use my phone to record the video. The video quality on an iPhone is better than anything, and I've done many kind of like side by sides, and it's the one thing that Apple have got right is the cameras and the video quality. And it's I'm not a massive fan of Apple, but it's I'm a huge Xiaomi user, Tim. Yeah, I've got a Poco X3. It's not too bad. The camera is not great quality. It hates low light, and for some reason it doesn't work properly with my wireless microphone, so I have to use the jack, the TRS jack. Yeah, but the only really reason I want to go iPhone is just because video quality is very good. But yeah, although I do use a MacBook at home, I almost switched to something else. It was only because of I'm not a massive Apple fan. It's just I was kind of invested in that ecosystem. Yeah, I would say Xiaomi is quite good. The problem is you have to kind of get rid of the bloatware. That's one of the big problems with the Xiaomi, or however you say it, is that you do need to uninstall a whole load of things that are spying on you. Apple device is great if you would Apple everything. This is what Tom says, and get into the ecosystem, but I'm Android go to be more because it's more open. Yeah, though I have to say, as someone who has a MacBook and has always had an Android phone, they do not talk to each other at all. It's a bit of a nightmare. There are ways of getting around it, but just trying to get a file from one to the other is not fun sometimes. I do have apps that do that for me now. I've synced to a NAS drive, and then I can get the files from the NAS drive. But I can't just drag and drop from one to the other because Apple had a hissy fit over Samsung. In fact, I had a Samsung phone when they were having the argument with each other, and they specifically made Apple not work with Android that well. It's just irritating. There's got to always be aware there's gits on e-bikes X matching your phone. I'm always aware of that when I'm out in public, even with my cheap phone. The thing is, they don't know it's a cheap phone, and also, it wouldn't be worth much, but the stuff that's on it will be worth. I always think my videos and photographs as soon as I go home, but I'm always paranoid when I'm on a trip. It'll get stolen, or I'll drop it in the river, or drop it in. I'll lose the phone, or it'll get wrecked because I don't have a backup of those of the stuff I've shot during the project. So Thames Path 1, I was using it on a selfie stick on bridges and thinking, please don't drop it in the water. Yeah. So that's why I'm paranoid, because it's not waterproof. This thing is not waterproof. The reason why it's kind of does all right in rain, but the reason why when people say, "Oh, why didn't you get this shot?" Whatever, and they've got like a nice action camera, they can do that. They've got waterproof. They can get waterproof housings, and they're waterproof. This phone is not, so I can't really get the real extreme stuff. I cannot get it at all. Um, Says high-end Androids do great video. To be honest, I can't complain about my current Samsung in that respect at all. The last one was Oppo, and that was great too. I used to have Samsung phones. I have personally banned Samsung because I had a flagship phone which had a fault on it that was a known fault, and they didn't replace the phone. They just let them all die, and that was the S3. And you'll never find a second-hand S3 unless it's never been used, because they all developed this bootload of fault, and it obviously happened outside of warranty. In my case anyway, it happened outside of warranty, and so I was screwed. And so I was like, if you produce a phone which has a fault in it, which means that it bricks itself, then either you are shady, or you should be replacing those phones because you've produced a defective product. Samsung didn't do that, so I've never bought a Samsung phone ever since. And I was a big Samsung. I had several Samsung phones. I had Samsung Discovery Z as well, which did a similar thing. It just died one day. So they make phones that just die. So Sparker, how does you can't elaborate, but my bucket phone landed in a bucket of pee. Okay, you can't elaborate, but I wonder how that happened.
Most smartphones now are supposed to be waterproof to so many meters, unless you take them apart, and then they have to be properly professionally resealed again, don't they?
Yeah, I know the iPhones can they're not they specifically say they're not waterproof because people then try and use them at depth and for long periods. But yeah, if you drop them into water, I don't think the Xiaomi. I mean, it might be. I'm doubtful whether it's that waterproof, but it has some waterproofness. But yeah, the iPhones, yeah, you can drop them in water up to about 10 meters, but you're not supposed to leave them there. Because people will actually go in kind of like scuba diving with them and then complaining about them not working because the chlorine, or being in a swimming pool and the chlorine gets out them or something, or salt. Because salt is a separate question. Being waterproof doesn't mean it's necessarily sea-proof. Salt corrodes everything, so it could be waterproof for metal, but it will still corrode. But yeah, I was a big Samsung fan, and then that happened, and I was like, no. Yeah. So when people say, "I'll get an S21 or S22 or whatever it is," I'm like, "No, I won't." Um, it's other people love them, but I just can't forgive them for what they did, because I didn't have very much money at the time, so it was a big thing. My phone just dying like that, and you know, it was irritating. It should never have happened. What's that? My city limit. Oh, there it is.
We have a stupid dog in my phone, and a bucket of pee was in close proximity. Enough said.
I still ask the question why there was buckets of pee. I'm not going to ask.
I don't want to ask.
I don't want to know. But yeah. Oh, my huntsman. I had my huntsman out. I was hacking. I was using the saw. I was hacking roots out, which I don't usually do. I never clear a site like that usually, apart from moving the stones and twigs out of the way. But this was definitely a site that
I
had to be cleared.
I did a thing today, Tim.
What was that?
I've,
What have you been
ordered,
up to?
I've, ordered, I've, ordered, I've basically ordered 5 mugs with media outdoors and whatever on.
Oh, cool.
When obviously when they arrive, I'll show you them.
Excellent.
And I just couldn't resist buying it today. I couldn't resist buying it. It was this amazing cooler bag. It's a backpack, but it's actually designed where you can put. It's got sleeves, but you put the gel packs that come with it. You put them in the freezer, obviously, and it's supposed to keep things icy for keep stuff cold for 3 days.
Wow.
But instead of having my normal backpack, it's got all these pockets and that in. It's got bottle opener. It comes with a bottle opener attached to it on the zip and whatnot.
Yeah.
There's all different compartments, so I can actually use that on my chest instead of my normal backpack, and I can have ice cold drinks, ice cold food.
Yeah, shame Moley isn't here because I've had that conversation with him about what he said to me. Why don't you take butter? And because I don't have a cool bag, I'm like, because it goes off. And he's like, oh, but it lasts. It's like, not in my rucksack, it doesn't.
The
Yeah.
bag's not with me. I've only got my normal bag at the moment. This one, the bag of swag.
The bag
This is the lightest I've travelled, Tim. I've got my bag, my little bag, my little, my little bag of swag.
Yeah.
And my chair. That's it. That's all I've got with me.
That's ultralight. Ultralight.
That is ultralight.
That is ultralight. I'm just putting on my puffy jacket because it's getting a bit cold in here because the wind is blowing through the tent.
But I will have that bag with me Saturday when I do my stealth camp.
Oh, cool.
Apparently, it can, in the main part, it can hold 27 cans.
Wow.
Obviously, Coke cans. But
Tom
as I
Byfield
say,
says, what tall? Tom Byfield says,
an
what
idiot
tall?
outdoors.
An idiot outdoors, yeah. All one word.
There was another one, Tim, and it was actually like a trolley, like with wheels.
Very ultralight. That's how you can have a whole bar, I suppose, with you. You could have a whole
That could hold 30 odd cans. It opens out. It's got drinks holders on it, but it literally got a pull up handle. And I just thought, no, that's just taking it to another level. Because I says to the missus, because this was in Costco earlier, because she asked me, she said, "Will you come to Costco with me when I finish work?" And I said, "Yeah, okay. Well, what you planning on getting?" Obviously, you get the cat's food and all whatever else. You always end up spending more than you intend to when you go in a place like that. And she'd gone somewhere with the trolley, and I went and had a look in the camping section. I mean, strange. And when I seen it, I disappeared for must have been about 15 minutes. And when I come back, she said, "I thought you was going to get a bit annoyed with me, because wondered where I'd gone." I was, "No. Why would I get annoyed?" I says, "I found the new love of my life." And she looked at me and she went, "What do you mean the new love of your life?" I said, "You want to see her? She's absolutely gorgeous. Come with me." And she's like, "What are you going on about?" And she's like, "I'm supposed to be the love of your life. What are you going on about?" I said, "Just come with me. Just come with me." And I got round there. I asked, "Look at her." And she's what? She's like, "Oh, don't tell me. Is it camping related?" And she says, "For God's sake, just buy it because you're only going to go on about it all weekend and then come back over and buy it. So just buy it now and get it over and done with. Because once you've got an idea in your head, that's it."
But yeah, things you never say. You never say to your other half, "Oh, this is my love of my life." It's like you should never say that. They're like, yeah, they're supposed to be the loves of your life.
Okay, now I'm jealous. I'm not allowed in the camping or DIY aisles.
Wow.
Liam Jones, I've seen the trolley one. It's what festival goers use for a weekend of heavy drinking.
Wow.
He obviously hasn't seen me when I go camping, has he, Tim?
Yeah. But
Ultralight, ultra not.
ultra, yeah. But that's the thing is that I think Molly takes like a small because I used to have one of those. Callback. So he takes butter with him.
Yeah.
Maybe not on. I don't think he did that on the long trip, but I know he does go out with butter, and I'm like, how do you keep it from going off? And because I actually I've got my thermometer with me. Let's have a look what it is. 16 degrees. It's probably upside down. Oh, of course, it's flipped around. It's flipped. Yeah, because it's around, isn't it? 16 degrees. And
16.
I have the thermometer in my backpack, so I know how hot my backpack gets. And it got up to about 26 or 28 yesterday. And that was just in the backpack. So, you can imagine it's in a pocket in the backpack. It's not kind of on the outside. So you can imagine that butter and cheese just goes off really quickly. So, yeah. I don't know how he manages to keep his butter from going off. So that's why I always use olive oil. Hello, Ryan. Hello, Ryan. Ultralight doesn't cover alcohol. Yeah, I agree with that, Sparker. Yeah, how are you, Ryan? Bible says Simon the bloke in the woods often carries butter just in a German army butter dish. Imagine it's liquid at 28 degrees. Yeah, I know, and I don't know. I mean, maybe if it's at the bottom of your pack, it'll be all right. But then you just got a pool of butter at the bottom of your pack. So I always find that cheddar goes really weird. It starts leaching oil and goes really strange after a few days. It's why I always carry German. I think I've got some with me somewhere. That's why I always carry Lidl's smoked German cheese because there's something about it's their version of Leerdammer. There's something about it means it doesn't mind getting hot or cold or whatever. It doesn't leach oil. It's not too Leerdammer is very plasticky, but the Aldi's and Lidl's own German cheese seems to be a better, and it seems to not survive temperatures fine. It doesn't go off. Eventually goes a bit weird. It takes a long time, many days. With cheddar
What,
gets
Ryan?
weird after about day 2. Still having midge nightmares. Yeah, I think Ryan and Chris, I think, still are. It still wasn't the worst camp I've ever been on. Everyone else said it was the worst camp they've been on. I have had worse. The worst thing is I didn't actually film the worst ones because whenever I've had a really, really bad camp, you don't see it because I just stopped filming. And I've had to force myself to film more because some of my worst camps, I just literally went to bed. And yesterday was difficult physically, and I kind of I did film it, but I went to bed about 8 o'clock at night for about 2 hours because I was so exhausted. My shoulders hurt, my legs hurt, and because I was in a place where I'd set up at 7:30 in the evening, and I wasn't sure how exposed I was to, but I didn't think anyone couldn't see me. I literally just was like, "Oh, I'll stay in the tent. I'm out of sight. Let's go to bed." And I slept for about 3 hours, and then I woke up and had dinner, and then went back to bed. I had a great time sleeping. It was good, but yeah, if I have a bad night, if the camp goes really wrong, I just go to bed. I just hide, and I quite often don't film it. So
Yeah,
some
that
bikes
night
have been
was just
getting.
pure evil.
Yeah, but it's still not. It's still not my top 3 worst.
I'm not in a rush to go back to the peaks.
Yeah, I think if I hadn't got a midge net, it probably would be in the top 3. So
Sorry,
having the midge net,
hello Ryan, mate. All good, mate.
but I think for people who didn't have the midge net, it would probably be. I can understand why, but that the night I spent on Old Winchester Hill on the South Downs Way, hunting around a wood with torrential rain, getting completely drenched, and then finding out the place was an ex-army site and it actually has an exploded ordnance in the woods. And then putting my tent up, which kind of then fell down and it sort of fell down the night because the ground was getting so soft with the rain, and the tent was already wet. So I spent a cold, wet night in a cold, wet tent, and yeah, that's probably one of the 3. That was bad, and I didn't film most of it because it was just like if I have to force myself nowadays to film it, because what would happen is that I'd just be like, I can't do anything. I didn't even make a hot meal. I actually went to sleep until the rain stopped, woke up at 11 o'clock at night, and then had half a bag of knickknacks, and then went back to bed again. That's how bad it was. I had a hot drink, I think. That was it. I was just like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. So, yeah, the Old Winchester Hill, I think, was definitely one of the worst. And I think for the people who didn't have the midge net, I would say, yeah, I can understand that. But for me, it was okay. I've had way worse. But ironically, you haven't seen it on the channel. I think I did a little bit of video about it the next day, but I didn't actually show it because whenever I've had a really, really bad camp, I just stop. I just go into my bed and hide, and I don't film anything. I just go, okay, I'm just going to sleep now, and just hopefully it goes away in the morning. Keep it real, guys. Yeah, keep it real. Keep it real. He said.
I know Ryan will be keeping it real.
Trying to fist bump the camera.
Yeah, there's mine. While I do me brew.
I need to actually put some food on, actually.
Don't keeping you awake, am I, Tim?
No. I'll be awake for a while anyway. No, I'm just thinking I need to try and get some food on. I've got some chicken, some barbecue chicken, which I'll have in my sandwiches, and also in some noodles tonight. And should have some rice noodles.
That's for you, Ryan.
Always back to work, says Ryan. Liam says, I never used to worry about midges, but now even fruit flies irritate me. It's weird to become accustomed to.
But there's midges, and then there's midges.
Yeah. There's midge store midges.
Yeah. Relentless.
I mean, it wasn't. That's why I had to use your video, because you had a light on. You could see sort of how bad it was, but even then, on your video, it was probably that was just the big one, so it's probably about 50 to 75% of what really was like. There was actually even more than that video. There was even more than that. That's actually an underestimate of what it was.
But yeah, there was going in your nose, going in your ears, going in your eyes. Like,
yeah,
it don't matter where you wiped, they're just another lot would just end up there. You just couldn't do nothing with them. You couldn't stay comfortable. You couldn't drink. You couldn't. We walked over to where they wasn't, and then they just followed us.
Well, and that was the fun thing.
You had some idiot all night who wouldn't turn his head torch off, kept attracting them.
I know. Though it was kind of useful. It was kind of like when you were at the other part of the site, they'd all flock to you. It was like you were the midget attractor.
You should have pushed me off that with my lights on, Tim, off that ledge. It would have all gone down to the bottom.
All the midgets would have run down. Maybe they would have actually run. They would actually have picked you off the ground. You would have hovered back up because they needed you. I don't know.
Was enough of them?
Yeah. Oh, there was. Yeah, I don't like those little black fly things. Yeah, I've not had. Yeah, I know. I don't know if they're fruit flies, but I've had those really tiny ones. They're harmless, but I've had them flock on my tent, and they literally cover my tent. And you're like going, "What are you finding attractive about the tent?" And it's only happened once, and there were all those little tiny ones. And they weren't bitey, but they were like, "What are you doing?
See
What are
you
you
later,
in?"
Sparker's going.
Okay, see, night Sparker. Thanks for coming along. Just in your socks, Tim. Yes, I've got dry socks, so I am drying my other socks, but I've got some dry socks. So I've got my waterproof socks as well, and something else, and something
I'm
else
going to
with
be
it.
honest with you. I'm really glad that the reception was really poor in that caravan because it's so much better being out here than it is in there. Good night,
Well,
Sparker.
it's probably because if there's a metal frame, it probably works as a Faraday cage. So it depends if there's a metal frame to the. It might be kind of like sort of blocking the signal a bit. Because if you have
the midges are on that level where you just can't function as a person. And I thought it'd be a good idea. The more I drink, the more drunk I am, the midges won't bother me. How wrong was I? They just get more irritating. So you're just drunk and irritated instead of just being irritated.
Yeah, I found that because the problem is that the next day you're then hungover and you have the midges. That was not a good morning for that because I was 2 hours sleep and I woke up and the midges are there, and so I'm sort of hungover and tired, but I still got to deal with the midges. Oh, I remember that. That's the reason in the video I just got up and I just go, "Oh, it's a real F me morning." And I said it twice. I was like, "Oh, F me," because literally I just got up and I'm like, "I'm tired, I'm hungover," and you open your tent, you're like, "Oh, they're still there waiting for me." There was like a cloud of them just hovering. They were just waiting outside, and you were like, you wave at them from the mesh. It was like,
Horseflies are nasty, Tom.
yeah.
They're the ones that lay eggs on you and they burrow into the larvae burrow into your skin, don't they, and feed on you.
Really? Ooh.
You have to pull the horsefly, yeah. No, that's a botfly, sorry,
Yeah,
botfly.
that's the botfly, yeah. I don't think horseflies do that.
Botfly, yeah.
They have a very nasty sting, though.
Sorry, I'm thinking botfly. In other news, this week, as you know, I got my very first payment from YouTube.
Excellent. Congratulations.
After the taxes, do you know what it came to?
Well,
£69 and 0.01 pence.
Oh, cool! Because that's very cool. I hope to be there one day. Who knows? Apparently, my subscribers has gone down. Well, I'm at 750 subscribers. It's gone up, but apparently the rate is going down. It was telling me that it's like it's down from what
It doesn't make any sense because you're putting out some serious good content. This is why I've been doing these lives and stuff to see if I can get these people on board your channel.
Yeah, I've been having a few subscribes for Fear It, which has been very good. That was good to see. So yeah, I know it's a difficult thing. I don't think the stealth, a lot of the stealth community really get what I do. It doesn't really fit in that sort of world very as well as it could do. But yeah, maybe because I don't do urban stuff. But when I have done like on that Thames Pass when I was actually right by an A road. That drove me mad, and I was the tent was being lit up by the lights of the cars because I was literally right by the road. It was just like all night, like, and yeah, I didn't get much sleep that night.
Hey Tim, I got a confession, you know, mate.
Yeah, what?
You know that hammock camp I done the other day?
Yeah.
My backside never touched that hammock once. Guess where I fell asleep?
In the chair.
In the chair. I must have woke up about 5 in the morning. Like, thought, oh God, what time is it? It's light, so. And then I just thought, you know what? And I started packing up. It was only about a 10-minute walk to where I live.
Yeah.
And because I've only got my hammock and stuff, I hadn't even put my tarp up.
Oh.
I put my ridge line up, but then we did the live, and then I ate some food. Did I tell you I burnt my chicken?
No, was that on the barbecue?
Yeah, I think I kept a bit hush about that. The blackest bits off.
Oh.
And then yeah, I just remember waking up, and then I thought, oh, that was bloody great, weren't it? I've been asleep in the chair, so as I say, I went home, and then I had a couple of hours on the sofa, but not lying down, sort of just with my head back on the sofa, cat next to me.
Well, whenever I've fallen asleep in the sofa or whatever, I just feel so achy. So I don't know what it's like in the chair. Tom says I've been subscribed for ages, but not been watching much outdoors stuff lately. I'll try and stop by more often and remember to like and comment. That'd be great. That would be great if you can, because that helps the channel.
Liam, Tim is the proprietor of the stream tonight.
This stream, yeah, this is
Yes.
This is on my channel. So yeah, that was the idea. Yeah, that's why I went up a bit late because I was trying to work out how to do it. I've never done a joint stream before, so I've obviously I've been a guest. I've never been the organizer, but I think it worked out all right. Although I didn't tell you that I asked you. We were talking for ages, and I was like, "Oh, I haven't gone live." I was like, "Oops." I would have thought all the swearing I was doing right at the start would have been a hint that it wasn't live, because I was just like,
yeah, I thought, I thought there's a few F's and Jeffs, but it's not my channel. This is going on, so
yeah, no, it was just the pre sort of while you were setting up. So I was like, we'll just chat while you're setting up. So yeah, that's the kind of day I had today. Yeah. Yeah, but
see, I wanted to obviously find out how you've got on, but then you don't want to give too much away because it's going to spoil the video, ain't it, in the series? So it's like getting the balance.
It's kind of it's been an interesting one because I would say that the two camps up to now, this is the third night of the Thames Summer, as it's going to be called. The walking has been good. Hardly any mud, no flooding, which is brilliant. And the camps have been pretty good, although tonight was more of a nightmare with the finding a site and stuff. But the other two have been really good. But it's just more that I'm just very much, I don't know what it is. It's like I'm very much out of, either I'm just not used to doing it because I've not done a big project since May, or there's something physical that's different. Because my shoulder, I've not really mentioned this at all. I did my shoulder in Scotland, and I've been kind of hoping it would heal. It never healed completely. And so even when I was at the club video, I was still like being aware of like, oh, be careful with shoulder. And that was what was bad yesterday, was the fact that both shoulders were kicking off, and I was like, ow. But today has been better. I haven't pushed myself, because the first day I did like 13 miles, and then I did less yesterday, but I was really struggling. And today I was just like, I'm just going to get past up, as far as I can get, so I've not been really stressing about, oh, I must hit 10 miles or whatever. It does mean that I don't know when I'm going to finish it, but I think Oxford is, as far as I can tell, Oxford is sort of the halfway point, so I must be about halfway.
That's scary, that is.
Yeah. So, well, because I know it's 100 miles from Goring to the source. So someone said it was 95, and then someone had actually done all the computations, and they were like something like Oxford is like 40 something, and then from Oxford to Canberra was like 50 something. So it worked out 95 when I thought it was 100. So I was about right. So this means I must be around or somewhere around the halfway point. So that means that obviously I've got at least another 3 days to go. But I have to say, last night when I was having real physical problems, I was so tempted to jump on, to say sod it and jump on a train home. It was hard.
So when's your last night going to be? Are you doing tomorrow and then going home, or?
I'm going to keep going and see how far I get. I mean, I'm going to give it at least a week. Obviously, I can't do. I can't do much more than that. I'm not going to say why. There is a reason. Because of something that we're scheduled on the weekend after. But I knew it was going to be. I thought it'd be about 5 to 6 days. It looks like it might be a little bit longer, so I might do that. But obviously, I have to head back at some point.
How are you for supplies, Tim?
I'm okay. I just picked up some gluten-free pasta, so I got a big bag of gluten-free pasta and some more food. So I'm okay for food. It's the water that's the fun one, because there isn't the water taps, or the locks don't have taps. They used to have taps. So up to this point, up to what I'd already done, I knew exactly where all the water was. Now it's a bit more complicated, and hence why I'm having to filter water, because it's not obvious where the water is past Abingdon. So you were doing this, Liam says, without a measurement of how long it should be. That is hardcore. Yes, I am, and that's why I had to. I had a rough idea that I'd do 12 to 15 miles a day, and it's obvious that I'm struggling to do that, so it might be a few days more. But I think today I must have done at least 10 miles, so it's not as bad as I thought. But at the end, with wet feet, was not fun. But that was mostly because I got drenched.
When I was watching your South Downs way, because obviously back then I was driving and doing the loading side of stuff, so I weren't able to watch videos at work then, obviously, like I do now when I am actually at work. But
Yeah.
when I'd get a notification, I'd save it. And what I found with them, the South Downs way, the way you'd put them all together and the way the music and that, I think the music that you chose them and worked really well. It's proper, like, really. I found that it was nice to put them on the TV, watch it just before I used to go to sleep, because obviously getting up for work in the night, and it was so chill, but with humour. When you want something that's easy watching, that it's not going to like baffle your head or anything, and a bit of humour, and I just thought that was perfect, and I could have literally watched them all back to back.
Yep. You can hear the geese.
And there was times where, I got to be honest, you know, I felt your pain at times.
Yeah. I mean, the South Downs Way was an interesting one because there was several things that went wrong. Mostly kind of losing my microphone, and what did I do in my pot? And the knee problems, and that's why I'm very wary of pushing myself too much. Now, on this, because I've done that, and I sort of did it with the end of the Thames Pass one as well, and I never learn really. So that's the reason why I was like, no, it's like I spoke to Molly when I was coming here on the train, and he was like, just enjoy it, and I was like, yeah, will I enjoy it? I did enjoy last night, and I did enjoy I've enjoyed the live stream. There is a point where you think I've got to finish this, and it becomes a bit of a grind. But I'm trying to get out of that mindset, and there have been times I've enjoyed it. So, but a lot of that is not pushing myself to keep doing it. Like again, harder and harder, because I just do that, and then what happens is I damage myself or something goes wrong, and so I have to kind of keep it real, I suppose.
If anyone keeps it real, Liam, it's Tim. I'm big about saying in each of my video, keeping it real, but Tim's your hardcore keep it real. But
Thank you.
But Tim doesn't have to tell everybody on every video about keeping it real, because Tim's humble.
But it's yeah. I mean, I felt bad on the South Downs Way when I there was like two of the videos when I was like I really wanted to do it in one go, and that was the reason why with the Scotland one, as you'll see, I did do it in one go. But I think it was just you have to build it up, and I was trying to do too much too quickly. I was trying to do like 100 miles in one go when I've never done. I hadn't done. At that point, I'd probably done 20 odd, 30 odd miles, maybe at most, and it was like it was a bit too much too soon, and it's like with the Thames Pass, I did 50 miles training for the Thames Pass in a week. And I was like, oh well, I can do this, and then the flooding stopped me at 170. But I did some of that in day hikes, and then the West Highland Way and Great Glen Way was about 160, 170, but I did it all the way through. That was the first time I did one all the way through, so I finished both. So that was a big achievement for me. As you'll see when I'm editing those videos, I've edited day one and started day two, and they will be on the channel soon.
Where are you looking at being tomorrow then, Tim? Where do you expect to be tomorrow? Camping-wise?
Some point between here and Lechlade, because Oxford to Lechlade is something like 20 to 25 miles. So I don't think I'll get to. What?
Heading towards Cirencester way, ain't it? Lechlade.
Yeah. So yeah, Cirencester, Gloucester. Yeah.
So
Cirencester's quite near.
You'll be going along near the A40, that sort of area, won't you?
Yeah, and it gets quite remote. The Thames Pass continues, but it gets quite remote at that part, and that's the reason why I was made sure I had some food, because I was like, well, I'm definitely going to have a kind of like a fairly remote camp between the two, and then I should get to Lechlade in 2 days, or past Lechlade, and then it's some point it's Cricklade, I think, after that, and then towards the Kemble. I think you were actually getting quite close then after that towards Kemble. But yeah, there are some weird sections which are quite remote off grid.
Keep an eye out for the aircraft graveyard, Tim.
Yeah, I will do. Well, I see that there's a remains of it must be because there's the remains of an old. Yeah, I hope that's not a midge. There's an airstrip there.
Yeah, you got it's now. It used to be RAF Kemble, but it's now
Yes.
known as Cotswold Airport, and then next door to it is the actual airplane breakers yard. And when all the Boeing 747s were decommissioned, they was all literally lined up nose to tail all the way along. I'd never seen anything like it. And I used to go past it when I used to deliver to Prince Charles's place in Highgrove House.
Yeah. Didn't realise
His
Highgrove was near there.
Sorry?
I didn't realise Highgrove was near there when you told me that. I was like, oh, I didn't realise it was near there.
Yeah, as I say, I used to go, depending on which way I was going or which direction I was in, but you'd go past it and all these Boeings, and some of them would have the jets taken off them. Because obviously they're salvage parts and stuff, obviously worth a lot of money, aren't they?
Yeah. But
But yeah, I've
aluminium
never
is
seen
worth a
anything
lot.
like it.
Yeah, I mean it's that's the thing is that that aircraft grade aluminium is very valuable. And Liam says, well, no, Tim seems like an extremist in terms of his desire to accomplish a goal, and you, Paul, seem like a lovely, solid fella loving the stream. Well, thank you.
Cheers for that, Liam.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm trying to be less extreme in that regard because it's
Well, I think if Liam Sims some of my stupid, wacky stealth camps that I do, I think they are a bit extreme. Camping in a hotel grounds and stuff. And it's not the first time, is it?
They are. I would say, yeah, they're extreme in a different
Extreme
way.
stealth
But
camping,
yeah.
stupid camping.
Well, I mean, I do stupid hiking, so some of the things I've got myself into, it's just like, oh, I edit the video, I look at it and think, why did I do that? It's like when I nearly drowned myself last time. I was like, why? And then when I go to that place today, yesterday, I went to the place where I nearly drowned, and it's all dry, and there's a little tiny channel, and it's all grown up. There's all these plants growing out of it, and it's like, why was this? I had to turn around, and it was just impassable. And now you just walk straight through it, and I'm like going, I should have done this in summer. I was like, I must do Thames spring in spring, and it was like, why, Tim? Why didn't you? Well, at least do it in May. That would have made more sense than March. That was a really dumb thing to do. I've been thinking a lot about that. Why did I do it in March? You could at least done it in May. It still would have been bad, as Moley went through some of the same area, and it was still, but it wasn't as bad. It's still pretty bad. But interestingly, the areas I'm going through now, where Moley went through in May, are now pretty dry. And I've hardly seen any mud. A little bit. Oh, good. Thank you, Liam, and welcome. Definitely.
Cheers, Liam.
Yeah. I hope you watch some more videos. That'd be great.
Obviously, my channel, I am an idiot outdoors, and the clue's in the name.
And
I do all different stuff. I've done collabs with Tim, Moley, and it was 8 of us, weren't there, when we last went to Peak District?
Yeah, that was an extreme amount of people. I don't think we'll go higher than that.
It was.
Yeah.
It was trying to find somewhere where we could all camp together.
Yeah. And that was the problem. It's very hard to find unless you go very, very remote, it's very hard to find a place where you can get 8 people to camp at once.
If we'd have gone to the place that we'd gone before, we would have managed it easy.
Yes. That place,
in a nice circle.
Yeah, the Monsell Head, Monsell tunnel area, yeah, that would have been good. But yeah, maybe we were planning somewhere else, and maybe that would have worked better. But yeah, certainly it turns out that that doesn't really work in that place in the Peak District at all. So live and learn. But certainly, I think if we ever go for anything that big again, we have to make sure that it's somewhere that can do that, and it's probably fairly remote.
I think if we did do anything like that again, and we want to find somewhere new, make sense if a couple from the group basically find somewhere to park up, and then a couple from the group go and do a recce rather than carry all the stuff. You know, the rest of the guys can have a good chinwag and get to know one another and whatever.
Yeah, that would have made, because the fact that we took all our bags to go for the recce was a bit silly. We should just even if we just left all the bags and then said let's go and have a look at the site, that would have made more sense. But also, I think it's not a good idea to do that kind of camp on a site that no one has been to, which is like what we did. Yeah, I think you have to have been there. Somebody in the group has to have been there. I think for it to work. Yeah. Tom says I subbed to an idiot outdoors. Looking forward to checking it out. 69 quid is pretty good for a 9 months work. I'm a bit jealous.
9 months. I didn't even realise how long. I didn't even think about how long I've been doing it. But yeah, I don't know. I just seem to have jumped on the bandwagon at the right time, and I didn't even intend to do a YouTube channel. To be fair, it was people when I used to do these silly camps. There was no camera or nothing like that. The only thing I'd film is the people that knew me, the closest people to me. I'd show them where I'm camped and whatever, and I'd do a little video of this, little video of that, and like, oh, that's awesome. Why don't you do a YouTube channel? Nah, people ain't gonna want to watch this. How very wrong was I? The amount of people that do want to watch this, it's surprising.
Yeah, there's lots of people who want to watch this. Yeah, I mean,
But yeah,
I think.
cheers, Tom.
I mean, it's a weird one for me because I did like 2 videos on my channel for about a year, and then I restarted in September 2023, and so it's been about 10 months for me, really. I mean, it's kind of like those first 2 videos were there, but then I just kind of left the channel and didn't do anything with it, and then so I really see it as since September really is when I started doing it properly, and yeah, so it's come along well. What have I done all this stuff? Oh well, I'm losing everything. So yeah, it was yeah, and when I started, I was just going to film, my trips. It was very random. I wasn't really thinking of wild camping at all, and then I can't remember when my first wild camp was, but it was that was it. Yeah, the September. I then couldn't afford to do campsites anymore, so because I used to do like camping, sort of caravanning parks and random places, and then do day hikes. And I couldn't do that anymore. So then I don't know which video it was. It was fairly early on. I was like, oh, I've got to do wild camping. I want to do wild camping, but I was too scared to do it. So it took me over a year to get to try and do it. But I was like, well, otherwise I can't do anything for the channel because I couldn't afford to do camping anymore in a campsite. So that's how I started doing it. And because up to that point I was doing like DIY hacks and reviewing gear and stuff, but it was all stuff to do with camping in a campsite, and so I had to change all of that.
One thing that I like
Yeah.
about it the most is that I've made some, I'd say, decent friends through it, and I think we've got a nice little group.
Yeah, and I think that was one of the things I'm surprised at is that we, that happened because it was, I was not expecting that at all. It was like when Molly approached me about doing the collab, I was like, this random person has messaged me and wants to go off and do camp together. Oh, is this a bit weird? Or is this, I'm not sure about this. And so I actually dithered about it for weeks. Partly because also I'd injured myself. I think that was and also I wasn't sure if my knee was all right. But also I was a bit like, oh, is this safe? But I'm really glad I did. I'm really glad I went on that collab with
Well,
you and Molly.
Did Molly tell you that I sent him an email?
No.
What it was is I've been watching Molly's content, and I thought he comes across as a really, down to earth guy. And I liked his channel. I liked the stuff that he was putting out. I seen that he got a couple of lads and stuff similar to me. Obviously, I've got children, and and I thought,
Yeah.
the similarities are there. And I sent him an email and saying, obviously, at some point, I wouldn't just go camping with I've had so many people in my comment section saying, "Oh, well, I live near there. Do you fancy doing a camp sometime?" Well, I don't know you. I've never met you before, but because obviously I've been watching Molly's videos and that,
Yeah.
and he was a follower of mine as well. We was following each other's channel, so we knew one another through the channel. And I messaged him saying I'd be interested in doing like a bit of a group collaboration at some point. It'd be nice just to get to know a few people and have a bit of a group or whatever. And after that, I says you can have my number rather than keep sending emails. So I was talking to him on WhatsApp and that, and it was just good to actually talk to somebody who's like-minded. Because my missus is not one bit interested in camping, so I ain't going to talk to her about camping. And as I say, it was just nice to have that, and we got a lot of ideas from each other and stuff. And then he said he's got a guy who's interested, Tim Arder Piker. I said, yeah, I know him. I follow Tim.
Yeah.
Seems like a nice bloke. And he said, would it be okay if Tim comes along? I was like, yeah, of course, can.
Yeah.
Well, before you know it, there's four of us.
Well, I'd seen you. I can't remember. I think I'd seen you commenting or something. I kind of somehow I had some idea about you, but I hadn't watched your videos. But I did, or maybe I'd watched one. I wasn't sure, but I was like, oh yeah, I kind of recognized the name. I'd seen it around, and I thought you'd commented or interacted in some way. I remember that, but I have a terrible memory, I have to say. But I think I did check you out after that and went, oh no, yeah, definitely, because I loved your videos. So I've been very bad about not going back from that, but it's a bit like Moley's golf course video. I think that was the first one I watched of his, and I think yours was probably. I don't know if it was a tool station one or the one before that, but yeah, it was one of those ones.
That's where I literally stealth camped behind a wall.
Yeah, I love that. I was like, yes, I could, yeah. I think we're gonna get on, fine. Because I loved how that
crazy.
was.
It was pure crazy.
Well, it's ridiculous.
I didn't really think this through. That tent does not. It's just too big for this little gap. So I dragged the tool station sign across. I mean, those big tram marks in the grass was never a giveaway, was they?
I need to go for a pee, so I don't know if we wrap this up or whether come back. I don't know. If you want to keep streaming, but I desperately need to go for a pee. So I'll be a second.
You carry on, Tim.
Yeah. He said, what should I do with my things? Good idea to have a head torch and see what I'm doing. So I'll be back in a minute.
Ooh, right. Well, Tim's gone on to take a leak. But yeah, for anybody who's still watching who doesn't know, I purposely came out tonight just to do this stream with Tim, so Tim could host the stream. Flood the valley. Yep.
The moon's out. The moon's out. I have to say, the tent, even though I've got this quite low, the tent at the moment looks like an Instagram shot. You know, like it's glowing. Not stealth at all. Yeah, obviously the light goes everywhere, so it's like, yeah, I'm not very stealthy at the moment. Anyone, no one will be passing the path anyway. But yeah, it's like,
I actually like it of a night when you got your lantern inside the tent and it's all lit up nice. It just looks so warm and cozy in there, I think.
no, it is. It is. It's you know, it's been. I've been very fortunate. I mean, this is probably slightly colder because there's a bit of a wind through here. But the two woodland camps I've done, even the one by the river, but it was like it had like woodland. It's all been kind of 20 odd degrees plus. This is a bit colder. Let's see, 16.8. Because there's a bit of a through draft through here, which is why I'm wearing a puffy jacket. But it's not cold in here, no.
I prefer it cold when I'm camping. I like it where I like the actual gear to keep me warm rather than me sweat all night.
Yeah, no. I mean, I'm like that with hiking. I was happier today because, in fact, it was weird when it rained at the wrong time. Because during the day, I was actually really hot, and I was like, "Oh, I'd be quite happy if it rains at about lunchtime, 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock," because I was exerting myself. I was like, I'd be really happy if it rains now because it was quite hot. We did it the wrong way round. It was like a little kind of drizzle, and it'd stop, and it'd be like sunshine. But okay, fine. And then obviously when it's colder, suddenly downpour, and you're like going then it's cold. So that's why everything's kind of I'm trying to dry everything.
I'm just going to make this brew, Tim. I'm going to have this make this brew, drink this brew, and then I might wrap it up, mate, so I can get some shut eye.
Yeah, I know. I need to get some food on actually. It should be fairly quick though. But yeah, I can make it now. I've got my noodles.
Wicked.
It should be quite quick. And I've got the chicken. And I've got the water. Yeah, no, I was trying to find the pot for ages because I stupidly left it outside, but there doesn't seem to be any slugs in it, so that's good. It's one of the problems if you leave these because there's like a little pasta. There's a little pasta slit in the lid of the thing, and they climb in there. So I can't leave the pot outside.
I am listening, Tim. It's just I'm just going to get tea on the go.
No, yeah. So yeah, it's Internet says it's 14 degrees in Oxford, but I don't have real measurements to compare. Yeah, I mean it's going to be a bit warmer inside the tent because of because I'm in here. I'm sure it probably is 14 degrees out there. I'm sure it probably is. Unfortunately, I used to bring two of these with me, and I just got a bit bored of course it's because it's reversed around because I'm using the selfie thing, but I used to have one outside, one inside, but it was like too much weight to carry.
I've still got analog ones, Tim.
I know. You stood on the other one, didn't you?
Yeah, when I was doing a camp with Chris
I know.
in the woods.
Poor thermometer.
That had been with me from the start.
I know. It was like me losing Big Pole. It was a sad occasion. As I was saying on the last stream, I just got to that point where I'm saying on the Scotland trip to say, "Oh, I've lost Big Pole #1," and I still haven't worked out how. I was thinking maybe I should, that bit where we're dueling, me and Moley. Maybe I should have that in slow motion and some mournful music playing and like in black and white or something like that, and have R.I.P. Big Pole or something in some fancy font. Because I want to mark that in somewhere, like because it became such a thing about Moley and you saying, "Oh, it's your Big Pole." It was sad that I lost it in the first day. But we now have. Well, I can't show it to you because that's what this is standing on. But yeah, we now have Big Pole 2, so there is a successor. But
I find it funny when you're walking along that it's actually got such a bend in it with your phone on it.
yeah, the new one isn't as bad, but it still does it. Yeah, it's so funny. It's like Noah's like, "Oh no, let me have a look of your phone," and I was like, "Don't try and switch it to the ultra wide because the ultra wide is terrible. It will only do HD. You can't do 4K on the widest angle, and it's really grainy and just looks terrible." So there is a reason why I use it on the wide angle and not the ultra wide angle. So yeah, because when I first tried it, I tried it with both, and I was like, "Oh my god, that's terrible! Like it's all blurry and sort of grainy. I don't know what sort of strange lens they put in there, but it just doesn't. It's not very nice." So hence why I have to have the long selfie stick to get any form of wide angle because it has to be so far away. This will change.
I've just checked my
What's that?
battery just for the, and the other day I said it didn't give me no warning.
Yeah.
My battery's down to 15%. It didn't give me that
Oh.
warning. It normally warns you when it's at 15%. It must be to do with the live, because when I was on live to you the other day, when I was doing the hammock thing, my phone just went off, and then because of the time, I thought, well, we've been on for long enough now. It doesn't matter, but it must be because it's live stream. It don't interrupt the stream to tell you that the battery's low.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what mine is. Mine's okay because I've plugged in the battery bank while I've been streaming, so it's one of the reasons why I've been keeping it on the tripod because I've got the battery bank connected to it for that
So I'm
very
going
reason.
to plug my power bank in.
Me and my innuendo. Right. Where's my fork? What have I done with my fork? The man don't give a fork. And so on. Oh, there's my fork. I've got my. Oh, don't see anything. I've got my screw-in fork.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
I still use the outlery. They're good. They're good. They're not ultralight though. Something I learned about the cutlery is that the folding cutlery, it just unfolds when you're trying to use it.
Yeah, I don't like stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, the titanium makes it light. I wish they'd make these. I wish they'd make these in titanium. But I like the fact you can kind of combine them. So you can make a really long one or a short one, or you can make two short ones or whatever you want to do. Need more water. I'll be able to filter it anyway. Let me see.
See, I don't know where I'm going to go with this cup thing, you know.
What do you mean?
You know, I'll probably show them when they arrive. On obviously show a video of them. And if there's a demand for them, who knows? I might just get some more printed.
Yeah. Well, yeah. If people are interested, then definitely, yeah. I think they will be. Are they just like teacups, or are they kind of more kind of
Just
pint
a
thing?
plain white mug with my my design going around it.
Yeah.
When they
Keep you
arrive,
up with it.
I'll show you them. Obviously.
Yeah, Tom Biver says, love the fork. I got plastic ones that are pretty strong, light, and full size. I hate sporks and tiny cutlery. Yeah, that's the thing. Is that you can then screw in another one of these. You can make they're actually supposed to be like that. I'm just using it as a small size, but you can have them as long as you want. In fact, you just screw many of them in together. So it's really not fun. But I don't mind sporks, but I'm not a fan of the folding ones. But yeah, no, I think people will buy the cups definitely, and I think if they do sell, I think you definitely think about doing a pint mug because that will fit into the whole, especially if it's got the outside in on.
Thought about doing like some coasters.
Yeah, that
With
would work as well.
the outside in.
Yeah, yeah, that would be yeah, that would be good. It's like you're
But I'm
always
thinking
welcome
about
at the
me.
outside in. What?
You just got to find it first. If you can find it, then you can come in and join me for a pint. That's not a challenge, by the way.
Yeah, what you kind of want is like almost like an invite, but kind of like it's got a blank location and it's like question mark. RSVP if you can. Yeah.
I also thought about getting some them business cards
Yeah.
with and have like an idiot outdoors, the outside in, whatever, with my me decor on. I'd just leave them in random places and see,
Yeah. I can imagine people going, "What's this?" and checking it out. Yeah.
people. Oh, YouTube, I'll check that out. But you
Yeah.
got somebody looking like rather an idiot on the front point, like doing whatever, pointing or whatever.
Or even like the things that there's a card saying, "Where is the outside in?" Question mark. You can intrigue people
Did you
about
wa-
that. Saying,
Did you watch the video where I was actually stopping people? in the street and say,
No,
"Excuse me, mate, you don't happen to know where the outside in is, do you?" "No, mate, no." And there was
I
one
like that.
guy. He really had the cob on.
Yeah,
He was a black gentleman walking across the road. And I was like, "Excuse me, fella," and he just turned around and he was like, "F off," but obviously the proper swear word, you know. And I was like, "That's not very nice, is it?" And he was like, "F off." I was like, "That's really rude." And every time I said, it was like, "F off." I was like, "Surely you weren't brought up to be that rude."
yeah, exactly. That is to
But
say
I
that to
didn't put that in the
somebody.
video. I thought, I'm not
Well,
putting
to
that in
say
the
that,
video because it just looks like I'm antagonising people.
yeah, but yeah, it's kind of weird to say that to someone you don't know. And just be like, "F off," immediately. That's a bit of a weird one because it's like, oh,
Probably,
when I was I was in Abingdon. And someone stopped me and said, "Do I go to church?" Um, and it was like it was a Mormon. It was like an elder. It was like
yeah.
an elder so and so, and it was a Mormon. And it was like, "Oh, do you do?" I was like, "Do you believe in God?" No. "Oh, do you go in church?" It's like, "Oh, no." "Do you go? Do you go to church?" And I went, "No." And he said, "May I ask you why?" And I said, "Because I'm an atheist." And then he just wandered off. I was just like, it's a bit bold, challenging people to do they go to church in the street. It's a bit strange. Because do you know where something is? That's kind of a normal thing to ask. But I was a bit freaked out by the fact it was a Mormon. I was like, it's very Book of Mormon. Initially, I thought he was just he was it was a prank because I was like, it's obviously very common in the States, but it's less common here. To sort of usually it's Jehovah's Witnesses here. It's either people trying to flog or um, sometimes actually no, they don't approach you actually. The Islam people are like, oh, free Quran, but they usually don't approach people. But yeah, it's usually Jehovah's Witnesses. I find.
I'm using the light, so I see what I'm doing.
Yeah, I need to put mine on. Wet sock. That's good. I have to say, there's no compared to previous places, there is no there are no slugs here, as far as I can tell. And that's famous last words. They'll probably turn up now. Uh, when I look, there's beetles. The thing about the beetles, I can't do a Paul McCartney accent. But yeah, there's beetles, but there's I'm not seeing any slugs yet. I think it's a bit too dry for them. Maybe the rabbits eat them. Mormons in Abingdon. Yeah, I know. That was just like random. I was not expecting Mormons in Abingdon. I have to say, I was not impressed by Abingdon. Abingdon felt like a low rent Maidstone. I thought Abingdon.
Brings back some bad memories, Abingdon does.
Oh, maybe I shouldn't ask why. It's just a bit of a. I just found a bit of a strange place. The yeah,
day, and it was just putting so much time on me, or getting caught in all sorts.
Yeah.
Annoyingly, as a driver who used to could have done it. It was just, and then they got rid of the route because it weren't making them any money. And then, but yeah, doing 400 miles a day, it was horrible.
I can imagine. I mean, my impression was that
No time for a break either.
well, Aberdeen itself was horrible anyway. I was not impressed. I can imagine, going to Abingdon regularly, especially if you don't want to be there. I always thought Abingdon was posh. I don't know why. The only time.
My missus used to actually run a hotel there.
Oh wow!
You'd got her ex at the time. He was running the pub, and he was running the Beefeater pub, and she was running the hotel. I don't know whether it was a travel lodge, travel inn, whatever it was.
Yeah.
So one was running the pub, one running the. She was the manager of the hotel.
Okay.
The pub was the Hock Mill on the River Hock.
Yeah. I'm listening. Yeah, it's yeah, it was posh. There was a posh at the Waitrose. But yeah, the actual Aberdeen itself, I don't know, I was surprised. I thought it was a bit Oxfordy or a bit kind of like. I mean, Oxford was full of tourists, and you kind of expect that the people doing the Dreaming Spires tours, lots of kids and students and angsty people on bikes, lots of bikes that kind of just bike at you, which is a bit like Reading. Even on
it's Oxford and Cambridge are probably the most notorious places for bikes.
Yeah,
it's like their number one travel, ain't it, for all the youngsters?
Yeah, and I was not. I don't know. I have a complicated relationship with bikes at the best of times, but it was it was in the way that usually they're a bit kind of like they will. I don't know. People will be a bit less bold in their cycling at you, and just totally weren't. It's obviously they feel very emboldened in Oxford. I had a few people nearly hit me with bikes and it's like on the Thames Pass. It's like because the Thames Pass is also a cycle path. They weren't slowing down or anything, so there was just like they just cycle at you and ring their bell, and I'm not going. I had an Uber Eats person do that, and they were on a massive kind of motorized e-bike, and it was just like really is that I don't know. I just found that a bit weird. It was just like I get it, but Tom says I grew up in Caversham, Reading, and that's where I developed my love for the Thames. Yeah, I mean the first time it didn't when I did it this time it didn't happen, but when I first did it, there were so many people who were biking along the Thames path, and I remember having arguments with them because they were like, oh, there isn't a sign telling us not to do it. They'd say, and I was like, but it's not. It wasn't big enough to have two bikes along it. So yeah, it was at least with the the Oxford one. It's actually a surface path, and there's more space for you. Even then, they were kind of biking at you. But yeah, I found it a bit stressful today because they were just a bit. Yeah. It's hard. There's a bar there called Three Men in a Boat by Caversham Bridge, but the book of the same name, it simply says, "Passed through Caversham today, nothing to write out about." The thing about Three Men in a Boat, which is interesting, is it starts off in Kingston, which is near where I live. Yeah, they start off there. So it's I'm aware of Three Men in a Boat. I've not read it, but it's I know it's been several people have done adaptations and television series and stuff, but it's quite fascinating. And also there's a guy called Richard Jeffries who is a Victorian who used to do a similar thing. I didn't mention it in the thing about Cigarette Island because I didn't know how to say it in a PG way. But he famously used to go kind of like early morning kayaking, and then he commented on the fact that he disturbed a woman doing her toilet in the morning in one of these barges, and it just sounds so creepy. It's like, what, why were you spying on women in the anyway? It was a different time. I did wonder about putting that in the video, but I can't really say it in a way which doesn't sound really dodgy. But he's really famous as a naturalist, talking about the nature of the Thames and has a park near where I live and grew up near where I live. And probably many people don't remember him nowadays, but yeah, he was very famous in the Victorian era for talking about, After London by Richard Jeffries, childhood favourite of mine, that Richard Jeffries. And he sort of grew up, was most famous, literally where I live. And so that's how I know of him. But yeah, it's a bit weird him doing sort of dawn kayaking, dawn paddling down the river and spying on women in barges, because on that Cigarette Island area, which is about where he was, there was lots. It was very fashionable to have these barges, and quite often there'd be like real sort of society girls would have one, and so they also quite often left the windows open on the riverside, thinking no one was going to turn up, and he turns up paddling by early morning and disturbs them. I just find that
It's a bit weird.
It is a very weird story, and I'm like, how could you? How could you do that? What were you up to? What were you doing? I'm stirring my noodles.
Just making sure my t-shirt don't smell like that rancid caravan.
I wonder what happened to the spoon. I definitely lost things during this stream. What could I do with it?
So I mentioned to you earlier, didn't I, about this abandoned house?
Yeah.
But
What was
the actual...
What you were saying?
It's all boarded up.
Yeah. What near where you are?
Literally, probably about 30 yards away.
Yeah.
Where that car was, where that building is that you've seen, that was like a side building to it. The house was right in front of that. It's all boarded up, but if you go through the side, the actual back door's open.
Whoa! You're not going to do a pub, are you? You're not going to go inside and have a look.
No, not tonight. No.
Though, of course,
No, I told you about that time I fell through the floor, didn't I?
yeah. Of course, the people who are following your channel probably don't know about that.
No, that's all I'm going to say.
Say no more. Yeah, be careful.
And then the following morning, because I'd had a decent bit to drink that night.
You don't.
When I got out my sleeping bag, I wondered why all my trackies were covered in ash and dust and crap. And then I thought, oh yeah, I fell through the floor.
Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it. Yeah.
Did you watch the video?
I did watch it. Yeah, it was. I didn't watch
Sketchy.
I watched the video you sent me. I haven't watched the actual camp video. I need to watch the camp video, but I watched the one you sent me, and yeah, I was like, I could see why you didn't put it in, and also, yeah, I was like, when you were going through, I was like, oh, careful.
Did you like the world's smallest dance floor upstairs?
Yes. I used to. This is something my dad used to do. Is it used to. My dad was always about sort of amateur geology, and he used to go potholing and things like that before I came along. And so he loves that sort of thing. So he used to drag us around a lot of quarries, but some of the quarries in Wales have like ruined houses in. And so we used to go into those, and I'd be very much warned about not going upstairs. And then you try and go upstairs a bit, and you would just like start creaking. You go like, no, I think I'll leave that behind. You know, and because there'd always be like an attic or something, and yeah, very rotten stairs. So I never really did that, but I remember that I used to hang around a lot of mine workings. We used to go to Cornwall, and the same sort of thing. You'd have mine workings, and you'd be really worried because quite often they board them over. And then the boarding would get like overgrown, and so it would look like earth. So it's one of the things you have to be very careful when you are wandering around like old mine sites. If it sounds a bit hollow, get off it very quickly, because quite often they just boarded over they just put planks over the top of the mine shaft, and then eventually it rots, it falls in, and you don't want to find those. So yeah, but yeah, my dad was obsessed with literally. There's photographs of me climbing up like 945 degrees slopes as a child before I could walk, because we'd go to these sort of cliffs and quarries and whatever. So I learned to climb before I could walk, and I used to free climb a lot when I was a kid, until I fell backwards at the age of 16 and literally by about half a foot missed some rocks that were poking at the sand like this, and then I was like, I could have just. I was like, even at the age of 16, I was like, I could have actually become a quadriplegic if I'd done that, if I'd hit that. And I was like, I think I'm going to stop now. Because I used to just climb up cliffs and climb up things. I was fearless as a child because I'd always done it. Until that point, I didn't really realize how dangerous it was until I fell. Luckily, I fell on the sand, so it was fine. I just winded myself. But then I realized these two rocks were there, very sharp rocks, and I could have fallen on them. I was like, maybe
Yeah, it could have gone very badly, couldn't it?
Yeah, I did dumb things when I was a kid, like try and make explosives. That was a bad idea.
Well, when I was a kid, we used to do stupid stuff like climbing the it used to be known as the MEB back then, the Midland Electricity Board.
What?
You know, like the substations that you have in housing estates and stuff.
Yeah.
We'd climb over them and hide in them from, and you'd hear them buzzing away like, the transformers. A lot of power going on.
That's scary. That's dangerous.
We didn't touch them, but we used to just climb over the actual gate. Anti-climb tape didn't stop us.
Yeah.
We
So
do stupid stuff like
you were the video that Jimmy was about. Jimmy, do you remember that?
Is this the 70s video, 80s video?
Yeah,
Don't
the
go into
PSA.
like
You know, the kid with the frisbee. Jimmy.
yeah. They used to do them
Yeah.
about train tracks and stuff, didn't they, as well?
Oh, the one where they kind of the one that got me was a one that they never repeated, when they had loads of people weirdly in their pajamas all drowning in a swimming pool at once. And it was about learning to swim. That gave me nightmares as a kid. And obviously, everyone knows about the dark and lonely water one, the Donald Pleasance one. But yeah, those gave me nightmares. I used to watch them. I don't know why I used to watch them. They'd be on like right at the end of the night, and I'd watch them and then go, "Well, I don't watch that." Usually about having a leaving your Christmas tree on and then burning the house down or something.
Dodgy Christmas lights.
No wonder we were scarred as children. No. Yeah, no.
Play safe frisbee.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. I actually, there are actually DVDs you can get, and I once went through some of them because I used to do VJing and video work, and they are a treasure trove, but quite weird in a lot of ways, especially the old driving ones, like from the 50s and 60s animations. They're all quite strange, very experimental. But because people forget that originally they were the koi, which was the people who made them was like they were going around from the 40s making those kind of they were kind of like propaganda films, really. If my noodles are done.
I can still hear that recording gabbing on now, you know.
That's like some kind of video game. That's quite spooky in a way. I find that really spooky the way.
Well, I set up and I put the lantern inside the caravan when I got here.
Yeah.
Because I thought that's perfect, so I ain't got to keep wearing my head torch, especially on the live stream, which there'll be enough light from the lantern. But when I come outside the tent and I see how bright the tent look, not the tent, the caravan, when I come outside, even with the curtains shut, you could blatantly see that there was somebody in the caravan with the lights on.
Yeah.
And then when I stood there, I could hear this noise, and I thought, that sounds like it's very close.
Yeah.
And it was the same noise I heard in the day when I come and done a bit of a recce. But this time I thought, well, it just definitely sounds like a security hut or something like that. So, as I say, when I went down there, once I heard what it was, I'm all right now. So it's not really creepy. I just keep forgetting, and then I hear it, and it sounds like people coming towards me.
I know, but the way it's I know the kind of annoying thing it was. It just still sound a bit like, something you'd have from something from Portal or some video game. It's like an automated thing on its own. I find those things really spooky, even if there isn't a person behind it. It's like, yeah.
I mean, I get a lot of people who ask me, when I do some of these camps, especially when I'm in the woods and that, deep in the woods, and I'm on my own or some strange places. Aren't you scared? Aren't you scared? Well, if I was scared, I wouldn't be there, would I? I don't scare easy.
Well, when I started doing them, I probably was, and then you kind of get over it. So I have a thing where it's like, if it isn't light, if there's light attached, then I'm worried. If there's no light, I know it's animals, because people can't. If it's dark out there, people can't wander around, without some form of light, unless it's like early in the morning. or there's a very strong moon, they can't see anything. So if there's no light attached, I don't worry about it because I'm like, okay. But initially, those first few, like the one I did at the South Downs Way, where I found deer tracks going down to my tent and then around my tent, but weren't there. They weren't there the night before. That quite freaked me out actually because I was like, "Is that?" Because I'd hear these noises in the distance and I'd be like, "What is that?" And I was like, "Well, there's no lights. It must be deer." I heard noises in that sort of direction all night, and then in the morning I found this track down to my tent from where it was. It was like scuffed leaves. Something had come down, scuffed the leaves goes down this bank, and I was like, I did find that quite spooky because I was like, oh well, there must have been something there, but then again I was like, well, there was no lights. It must be deer. Everything seems closer at night. Tom says everything seems closer at night, especially in really dark places. Every time big things noisily approach me in the woods at night, for ages it's been a badger. For me, it's slugs.
I always seem to get plagued with muntjacs, and I always say to people when they're on about like camping for the first time in woods and stuff, I've basically says to them, get yourself on YouTube and listen to the videos of people showing you what a muntjac sounds like. Because if you hear it for the first time in the woods and you don't know what it is, you will really freak out. Because they sound so freaky, especially if you've got two of them getting territorial.
I know.
And once you've heard it and you recognise that noise, you'll never forget it, and you'll put your mind at rest. And when you actually look how small they are, it's laughable.
I know, but they make so much. And as what happened on the South Downs Way, when I got it in stereo because I had a grouse on one side and then the muntjac on the other, and so it's like meh, all night. I was just like, oh, shut up. But I'm aware of the noise. That there was a muntjac. I think it was a muntjac. It was definitely deer doing that last night, and it was just really pissed off that I was there. Because nearby there was some. I saw it bound away when I arrived, and so I knew there was deer there because I saw it run away. I was like, ah. And then nearby there was some bark off the tree, and so I camped near there, and I think it was pissed off that I was in its territory. So it's of course then got its own back by just going all night. I was like, oh, shut up.
When they are notorious if they hear people. They will scarper, but then they'll keep barking as a warning. Be like, you're not going to do much. You're a little deer.
Yeah. But the thing is that I also found that they come back and then you just go all night, and I think they're just pissed off you were there because I'll be sleeping away last night, and I wasn't making any noise. There was no light in the tent. I'd still be like this, and then they may be talking to other ones, but there was just, and I think there were several of them.
There's a video of me. I think it was where I said I'd film my intro, that area, in that little wooded area by the side of the road. I'm sure it was that video where I was talking about something on the camera, and then I've got a muntjac behind me barking, and then I've got one in front of me barking, and they was having like a bit of a standoff.
I know.
And it just wouldn't stop. And each time I was like, can you hear that on the video? You got to be able to hear that. And I says I'm getting really, really annoyed now because I'm just gonna go and find it, and I'm gonna go and chase it out of there and in the finish, I said, right, that's enough. And I got up and I went running through the woods to try and scare it off.
Yeah, I mean this is the thing. Also, I get past the noodle water on my camping bags. This is the thing is that I'd put you make a noise. I'd put the lights on, and that would shut it up for a while. So when I was actually awake and and around, it wouldn't make any noise because obviously it saw the light, and it was like. But then as soon as I went to sleep, then it'd be like, meh, 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 and it did that all night. And then after a while, it was like, shut up. It just keeps switching the lights on, and then it was shut up for a while. I think, oh, that scared it off, and then it'd just come back and just go meh, meh. It's like you're just getting your own back because you didn't want me there.
Quite oftenly as well, I've picked up near owls.
Yeah, I get a lot of owls. Oh, not so much of the Thames, but certainly the South Downs Way. There was, and my first ever camp, wild camp, which I won't mention the place because we might be going there soon. We will be. The first ever wild camp. That the owls were just incessant, just like the barn owls. Lots of barn owls there. I didn't know there were barn owls. I actually looked up because for a video. I wanted to recreate the sound of one because it wasn't picked up very well in the recording, and I actually checked it out, and it was definitely a barn owl. Whereas tawny owls go screeching.
I love barn owls. I do. They're such a beautiful bird that
Yeah.
It's
quite weird when you see them. Have you seen them in trees? Have you seen them in a tree actually at night?
Well, yeah, because I'll tell you how. Because I used to be a really early AM driver, didn't I?
Yeah.
Some of the routes I'd start at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And going down some of the back lanes round Berkshire and all that area, Reading, you know all them country lanes, you know.
And you pick them off in the trees and live.
You'd go along with your main beams on, and I'd spot them because I know what I'm looking for, and I'd just see a barn owl just sat on a branch, not even phased.
Yeah, no, you wouldn't hear them, but you just see these two little ping pricks of light, and you'd be like, oh, especially if you had like a little torch or something. But even without it, you'd sometimes just pick them up from if there was lights around. But oh, there's an owl up there. But it was quite weird because they're so quiet.
If I was ever going along and there's a fence post near to the road and they're sat on a fence post, I wouldn't even see it. But suddenly you'd have something fly off across the field, and there you go. That's an owl that I've spooked. But if they're in the trees, they're not really bothered by vehicular traffic because they're obviously used to it being up in the tree.
Yeah.
But the amount that you'd spook and they go flying across the field, barn owls, tawny owls.
Yeah. And on my videos, I mean, like the one that's on Monday, there was a bat. So there was a bat that was, quite often. That happens quite often where I am walking and then they're attracted by the insects. They're attracted by my head torch, and so you just get this buzzed by a bat. And I love bats, so that's always good. I always thank them because they're protecting me from the insects.
We could have done with some bats in the Peak District that night.
Yeah, I think even army of bats wouldn't be able to shift that many meters.
Wouldn't even put a dent in them, would it?
Yeah, no, we need a lot of them. But yeah, that happened at Leith Hill. So that's in the Leith Hill video. There's a bat that sort of it went through my headlight. Initially, I was talking about it and trying to film it, and you can't see it, and then suddenly it goes straight through, and it's buzzes me, and I was like, "Hello," made me jump though.
I think I might contact Deborah Mead and see if I can get the funds together. You know, my invention will be a midge hoover.
Well, we could also combine it with the salt flamethrower for slugs. That needs to be a thing. Get rid of slugs. Slug be gone. Just fire at them with salt. But yeah, a midge, because we did come up with that, which is a midge flamethrower. Remember that from the collab.
The problem is we would have took half the Peak District down with it as well.
Probably. Well, not when it's that wet. It was so wet that weekend.
Have we ever seen pictures of owl legs? Yeah, they're quite spindly and definitely worth Googling for a laugh. They all have really long legs under all those feathers. the towpath in Oxford has millions of bats too.
Yeah, there's quite a few. Dorban, what was it called? Dorban's bats, I think they're called. The ones that live on water, and they live near water, and then they hunt on quite often around rivers. And where I live, there's loads of those because they live in near the old filter beds. And they hunt on they eat insects that are actually on the water surface. Well, not on top of it, but like they're just on the water surface. And they're regularly you'll see those at night down there. And they're not exactly a rare species, but they're fairly rare. You know, they're not endangered, but they're not exactly common. And they're amazing little creatures. I don't know why people are so scared of them. Dorbunters, yeah, that's the one. I don't know why people are so scared of them because they're kind of like flying mice, but friendly mice that don't gnaw your cables. They don't gnaw your electric cables and set party. Which is, that sounds like a good mice.
Yeah, well, I mean, they are the most ugly-looking animals when you look at them, but they can't help it. And they're not actually blind. People believe bats are blind, but they're not. They're actually, their eyes are designed to work in very, very low light. They don't see the world the way we see it, and obviously they have that sonar as well to help them.
Yeah. So that means they are essentially blind in sunshine and with strong light. But that you're right. They're not blind. It's just that they can't cope with the strong light.
Well, it must burn their eyes, mustn't it? Be like us looking at the sun.
But I think they're amazing creatures. I love. Whenever I've camped and I've seen bats, it's always a good sign. It's like because not only are bats are quite picky about where they are, so it usually means that that there's a good insect life, so they're protecting you from the insects, but it also means there's not it's there's not going to be any toxins or poisons or anything around there. It usually means it's a good place to camp.
I know it's a little bit off subject now, but now you've mentioned that and the insects, constantly at the moment, right above my house, all day long, swallows or swifts.
Oh yeah, excellent.
Just constant. And they do it every year. They end up over the top of my house, just flying in circles, getting the insects and stuff. And I think what it is because we're quite close to a wooded valley around the corner.
Yeah.
And we've also got a pond, like a pool, not so far away. So you've got everything that they need, obviously, insects-wise, trees, lake, and also the very. I don't know if they do it in your area, but the council don't really cut the meadows anymore like they used to. They've been leaving the meadows to grow, just cutting around the fringes and stuff. Obviously, to get the insect life back up.
They do a bit where I am, but Surrey do it as a cost-cutting measure. So that's the reason why I said about that story about the fact, I don't know if I mentioned it on a stream, but the A3 motorcyclist that was never found until they could actually finally trimmed it after many years. So for a long time they've been doing that, but they say, it's to encourage the insect life, but actually it's just to save money. And the problem is, it means that whenever you want to walk on a verge in Surrey, it's really hard. You quite often have to walk on the road because the verge is usually so grown up you can't actually walk on the verge. So it makes it a bit of a hazard. But yeah, the Surrey are quite renowned for their verges, and like if you wanted to do like along the A3, if you wanted to do a stealth camp on the A3, I think you probably have to take a large machete or a flamethrower to get into the roundabouts because there will literally be like jungle, you know. Whereas, you know, a lot of the places they have like tended or they've kind of like done some planting and there's a big area. Surrey, the verges between the A3 are just solid. You can't get in there. I know because I've looked at it and gone, oh, no, you can't get in there.
I used to use that quite a bit, the A3.
Yeah,
Takes you straight up to the M25 and then up to Chessington Adventures and all that, don't it? And
well,
then it goes out to...
I now live near Chessington, but I grew up in near Hindhead. So
Hindhead.
yeah, before the tunnel. Now it's a tunnel and it's all quite nice. But when it wasn't a tunnel, it was Hindhead. Hindhead had the only. It was something like between London and the continent, the only traffic lights on the A3 were in Hindhead. Which is like crazy because apparently that was the only stop. The reason why they built the tunnel is it was that was the only junction that had these lights, so it would always cause a bit of a problem, and so eventually they built a tunnel. Tom says, "I've noticed a lot less flying insects about these days." Yeah, I have as well. When I was a kid, we'd drive to Wales, and my dad used to have to stop and clear the windscreen. Not anymore. Yeah, that there's a lot less of them. A lot less for the bats to eat as well. It is very, because I remember that in the 70s you'd have like bug spats all over everything.
It's because they're all in the peak. That's why. Waiting for us to go there.
Was that?
They're all in the Peak District. That's why, waiting for us to go back.
That's it. Yeah, they're all moved to the Peak District. That's what's happened. Yeah, that's probably what's happened. They've all gone a bit upper class.
Not probably. After that night, it's a definite.
So what it is that insects have all gone very upper class and have moved to Cotswolds and the Peak District. Yeah, that was probably what's happened. But yeah, that is sad. There's a lot less insects and a lot less bees. Is why in my garden I only ever plant blue and white flowers because bees like them. But yeah, oh my god, it's over 3 hours now. I better let you go to bed. What time is it? 2 o'clock. Okay. But yeah.
What I was going to say something, and I can't remember what it was now. I'm going to wrap up in a second, but yeah, we said this before. When people think about camping and backpacking and all that, it seems like there's just this massive obsession with the Peak Districts. But when you see the videos, it's all doing the same thing.
Yeah.
If one person's done it, then 100 people have done it. There's nothing new about it. You're just doing the same thing as what anybody else does.
But that's the same with the West
Highland
Way. I mean, when I did the West Highland Way, I can't have been the only hiking YouTuber to have done it, but certainly none of the hiking YouTubers I followed had done it, and then they all did it. They all did it either just before or just after. So about 3 people or 2 people I follow and one person I knew and didn't really follow that, but I've watched his videos, did it, and there's been more since. So Stephen J. Reed, Paul Mesner, and Backpacking UK all did it within about a month or 2 of each other. So that's one of the reasons why I didn't post the Scottish video initially, because I was like, well, everyone's doing it, so I'm not going to rush it out. It was because it just looked like it's like me too, and I actually did it about before them or about the same time. Because literally, it must have been when Paul Mesner started it. It must have been after me, and then Andy Backpacking UK must have been doing it just before I went up. So, and then Stephen did it about a month later. And so it looks like I copied them. But they all stopped. They all just did the 95 miles. They didn't keep going. Bunch of lightweights. So I was
I
the
am
only one
looking
to
forward to
actually.
that series.
It's gonna be good. I mean, it's gonna be different to the Thames Pass. I'm gonna edit it down in like 2 or 3 day chunks. So it's gonna be one location to another location. At least the first 2 days, if not day 3. And then so do like 2 to 3 days, about 40-50 minutes. I think there was just too many parts of Thames Path. I think it was just too many. And I'm trying to edit it down a lot. There's a lot of me waffling in it, and I was like, not sure about that. See more scenery. And the
Well, I'll tell
cliffhanger
you what I'm
is.
going to do. I'm going to wrap this up, Tim, because I'm bursting to go to the toilet now as well, mate.
Yeah.
And I'm getting cold. I didn't bring my jacket out my car. I'm just in a t-shirt.
Yeah, that's the reason why I brought the puffy jacket and I brought the liner for the extra liner because I saw that the temperatures can go down to about 12, and so I was like, I'm by the river, it can get cold. But actually, I haven't been massively cold, but today I have been. Yeah.
Well, I always have my down jacket on overnight normally. I don't wait for the temperature for me to get cold before I put the jacket on, because then you're having to warm up. Then when I feel the temperature dropping, I'll put the jacket on before. I can always take it off again, but you can't, it's easier to cool down than it is to warm up, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I do that with my fleece. Whenever I stop when I'm hiking, that's when it's really important to put it on because I sometimes forget, and then I just get really cold. So I always put the fleece on. But then the problem is I forget to actually take it off again. So I end up being boiling, and I have to remember to take it off before I start hiking.
My down jacket, I'll squish that down and put that in the top of my pack in the actual the bit that goes over that. It's perfect size for that. And my fleece, I always put that around my waist so it's not taking up any more space in my pack. So I can,
yeah, that's what I do.
And usually I go through a right. It's just nice now, but it is dropping. So I'll get the fleece on, and then it comes to a point where I'm starting to feel the chill a little bit now.
Yeah.
So I'll put the down jacket on.
Yeah.
But even in like 13, 14, if you just sat there, you can still feel cold at that temperature.
Well,
if you're not doing anything.
Well, the reason why I've got the base layers is because I used to go out into freezing temperatures and then do a painting for 2 hours, a landscape painting in the snow. And I was basically getting almost hypothermia. Was shivering uncontrollably. And so I actually got the base layers not for camping. I got them for painting a couple of years ago. Because I just get
I put the red light on because I thought there was people walking past.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's that noise. It just seems to be travelling a bit now because it's dead silent. That tape recording.
I'm surprised they haven't fixed it. I'm surprised they haven't fixed the camera. That says to me that they probably aren't really watching the cameras either.
I don't know whether. I know there is one further which is monitoring the whole gate, but I don't know whether there's another one in the little whatever. I've not had a proper look because I don't want to be spotted.
But the fact they haven't fixed that says to me they're probably recording it and seeing if there's a problem. But there's no one live monitoring it. Otherwise, they would have fixed it.
Right, I'm going to pack my stuff up and get off, mate. All right, because I'm going to get some shut-eye.
Yeah, me too. I'm just going to finish this. So anyway, thanks everyone for coming, and if you've made it this far, thanks for live. Says Tom. It was very entertaining. You two are really good company. Nice friendly community. Yeah, it is. Gathering around you two is wishing the best in your ventures. Yeah, same to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, there's plenty of
And-
adventures to come yet.
Oh, definitely. And yeah, and if those watching, because I'll put this up on my channel as well. But those watching this far, yeah, you deserve a medal. It's the longest live. Yeah, apparently Molly did 6 hours. I don't know what did you talk about in a 6 hour live. Don't know.
Well, what was happening in that was we've got all the regulars, Sparker, Lee Grant, all that, and it was basically all the people in the chat were having a conversation amongst themselves, and Molly was like, "Are you guys even listening to me now, or are you actually having a chat amongst yourselves?" Like, you know, it's really funny. And I got so engrossed into it that I hadn't set my tent up or nothing that night.
Yeah. Well, when it's a joint live, it's so hard to keep an eye on the chat as well, as we found. So anyway, goodbye, and I suppose I press this. I suppose I'll speak to you soon.
Cheers, Tim. Have a good one.
And keep it real.
Always.
Oh, come on. End stream.